Yeah.
I'm East Coast as well. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Well, glad to have you on stream. Um, so give us the latest. Well, first off, before we even start, from the last time you've been on stream, we actually we've grown quite a bit. There's a lot of new audiences, new people watching the show. So give us a quick rundown of who you are, what Moby Screener is for all the people that weren't here the last time you were with us.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm the CEO at Moby. We have two products that are used quite frequently by the Solana community. One is MobyScreener.com, which is a deck screener competitor. The other one is the Moby mobile app, which we released about 3 weeks ago, and it's going incredibly well. Probably, in our opinion, and from what our users are saying, the best way to trade and discover tokens on Solana on mobile. Really clean app, super clean UI. It's going to show a little preview here of the app in this video, and it's growing really quick. We're already, one of the top Solana mobile apps by trading volume. We're going to be releasing our dashboards with public numbers when the market turns around. It's basically been like down only season, so we're not trying to waste that announcement, but it's going incredibly well. Even in this market, we're onboarding hundreds of new users every single day onto the Moby mobile app, and I think it's a testament to one, what makes MobyScreener.com and Moby unique is our discovery technology. We have a really powerful trending algorithm that surfaces coins faster and more efficiently than any other platform out there. And we do this by tracking the smartest wallets on chain. We're updating that list, every second based on a number of different factors. And basically what those wallets are doing on chain is the leading factor into how coins get ranked on our platform. So, one, case study that's, been being shared all over, X over the past week is, the 6-7 coin was number one on our trending at like 50K market cap. So we put a lot of time and energy into our discovery deck, and the main focus for us is help investors and traders on our app win more. And I think one of the biggest difficulties this cycle has been thousands upon thousands of new coins launching every day, and that's not going to change. And I do genuinely believe that most traders who aren't winning or aren't doing well or don't have a great track record is simply due to the fact that they're using the wrong discovery source, right? There's like no way to keep up with these thousands of new coins every single day. And if your discovery source is showing you bad alpha and they're showing you 30, 40 coins and they're late to showing you those coins, or they're showing you the wrong coins overall, you're starting your research journey in the wrong direction. And we're really focused on solving that with our Moby product. And I think it's one of the reasons why the app has been growing so strong, even in this market, is people are realizing that if you're doing any sort of trading on mobile, the experience that we offer on our app is much stronger compared to what else is out there.
Yep.
So
Chill, I just want to double tap on something that you mentioned. The mobile app is awesome, by the way.
Thank you,
super
man.
Clean. It's slick. The global DCA tracker is like a key component you should use every day. We posted some screenshots of people loading Avicii and MetaDAO, for instance, like millions of dollars at a time. And obviously those tokens have done really well. I can see Solo being loaded on the global DCA tracker currently. There's a 50K buy on Fartcoin. Someone is buying believe it or not, at 45K DCA on believe. So a lot of really good, just kind of alpha to go check your tokens against. So
on the DCA tracker, I think so what we did with the app and what we're going to continue doing with the app is we only want to put in features that are incredibly important, because if you look at a lot of these other trading apps, I personally find them incredibly noisy, and so do other members in our community. And I think what people don't realize is the more data points that get flooded into an app, the more decision fatigue you're going to have as a trader. And I think especially like in this market, you just need to be able to like aim and shoot. And we are very, very particular about what data gets added to the Moby app, because we don't want people to have decision fatigue. So the DCA one is a perfect example, right? We track every DCA on Solana in real time. The reason that's important is because, if you're about to enter a position and, you aren't aware of this data, there may be someone who's selling like, 4 or 5% of the supply of the coin in a DCA that's scheduled over the next 2 days, right? That's a perfect indicator that maybe you want to scale in slowly over the next 2 or 3 days, or maybe you want to wait until that DCA is done before you buy it, right? Because what the global DCA shows you is that there's going to be ongoing sell pressure until the end of that DCA order, right? The same thing works vice versa with buy DCAs, right? So the buy DCAs I think are incredibly helpful, especially in a market like this, because if big whales and big money are scaling into a coin on a dip, and they're most likely not trying to time the bottom, but they feel like the bottom is like somewhere within this range, that's when you'll see a lot of orders get put in where someone's buying a large percentage of the supply over 24 hours, right, or over 2 or 3 days. So I think having that insight is incredibly important, especially either whether you're managing your current position or you're thinking about buying into a new coin. I think for your current position, it's also really important, right? If you're thinking about scaling out of a coin, or you're kind of at a certain price level with the coin where you're feeling a little iffy, global DCA is super helpful, right? Because maybe you go to global DCA and you see 3 or 4 whales are going to sell their entire bag over the next few days. The good chance the prices will go down, right? Not financial advice, but you know what I mean. It's just kind of math at the end of the day. So that global DCA is like a perfect example of like a feature that we added because our community wanted it, but also one that gives you an edge. And I'm not aware of any other mobile app that shows you that.
So nice. You're the only one.
Go ahead, Joe.
No, you're good. I love the DCA feature. It's one that I like check on a regular basis because again, it's not something that you see everywhere. You guys are the only venue that offer that. So I love the mobile app. Let's talk about like users. Like the mobile app is awesome, has a ton of features. Your user metrics are growing. Like share with us a little bit about where you guys started user wise. Did you like come in with a core community, or was this just off the muscle, so to speak?
Yeah, no. So we just passed 40,000 users in the first 3 weeks. And a lot of those users came from Moby Screener, our social presence, the Acid Ash app. And I'm, the team's incredibly excited because, even in this market, we're seeing so many people come to the Moby app. And again, I think it's just because people want to be able to use the application that's going to help them achieve the best results. And I think our app is proving that to people. And again, through the tools, the clean UI, the discovery algorithm, it's very easy to navigate. And yeah, we're really stoked about that.
Do you have like volume metrics that I know the dashboard's not live yet? Last time you were at 30, I want to say it's 32K users. So you've added, almost 10,000 users since, which is great. But do you have any volume metrics by chance?
So we're firmly in the top 10 now. I would say we want to hold this information until the market turns and do like a big release with those public dashboards. I think right now, again, like Sol's down only, and when Sol's down only, like the whole eco is essentially down only. But again, like we're here for the long haul, right? We have significant runway, thankfully. So we're in a great financial spot. The app's doing really well. So for us, like our goal and our North Star is to make this the #1 trading application on Solana and then expand to other chains. But our first goal is to like dominate Solana. And there's a huge market opportunity there. That's what, one of the things we're really excited about it is, if you account for the other top applications, they're generating a lot of fees. And I think another thing that's interesting about ours is, 50% of our fees go to buying back Moby. So there's a really community first alignment there where not only are people loving the product, but a lot of the people on the product also own Moby. And I think over time that flywheel is really going to kick off strong. And we're having a really great time, to be honest, building this product.
Yeah, awesome. And maybe when you look at the other 9 in front of you, or however many, 8 in front of you, said you're top 10. What do you think is the main strategy to pull users from there to Moby? Is it just continued kind of a fairly generous referral system like you have, or is there some sort of killer feature? I mean, the global DCA tracker, I think, is one. You've mentioned your algorithm, but like beyond that, is there kind of levers you can pull to bring users in from those other apps?
Yeah.
Or is it just awareness?
Yeah. So I think obviously awareness helps. One interesting fact is over 50% of the users on the app were invited by a friend. And I think that, again, is a testament to how much people are enjoying the app and realizing like, wow, I actually have not used a mobile trading experience this good. I want to tell my friend about it. So we're really excited about that. And for sure, we have a ton of really sick features on the roadmap coming out. So far, we've been prioritizing the features that, and we'll always do this, but a lot of quality of life features that users have wanted. So, buys and sells on charts we just released, candlestick charts we just released. We have a new build hopefully coming out in the next like 3 or 4 days that has a lot more information about your buys and your sells. So like average entry, average exit, how much of the supply you own, cool stuff like that. Nice. So we're adding a lot of these quality of life things, but we do have like a few major releases planned for December. Definitely want to come on the stream again around then. One in particular I think is going to take everybody by surprise. I'm not going to leak any information on it, but I think it's again like one of the coolest things that we've built recently. So I'm excited about it.
And so you guys have the app. Obviously users are enjoying that. You guys also have Moby Screener, the website. And I know you mentioned you have a few things coming, but I just have to ask, let us know if you can't answer, but are you working on both? Are you working on just one thing over the other? What does that look like?
Great question. So what's cool is Moby Screener and the Moby app, it's the same backend. So we're always working on both together, right? The mobile app sees tremendously more volume, which is really exciting. And I think it's just because, again, if you're a mobile trader, I do think this is the best experience out there. One of the things we're releasing in December ties both together in an incredibly strong fashion. So they're both already unified, by the way. So if you add something to your watch list on mobiscreener.com, it gets added to your watch list on Mobi automatically. If you buy something on mobiscreener.com, it gets added to your balance on your Mobi app, and vice versa. So you can be trading on desktop or trading on mobile. Mobiscreener.com and the Mobi app are entirely in sync. Same account system, same wallet, same everything. We are putting something out in December that we're pretty excited about. I think just, again, like levels up like the overall experience that we have across the product. So yeah, our team is, shipping nonstop. And I think that's one of the things that the community really appreciates about us is, we listen to feedback, we listen to feature ideas, and we move on them very quickly.
You know what's crazy? You guys remind me of Padre a little bit. I don't know if anyone was familiar with them, but when they first came out, they're very much like you guys, like very like responsive to feedback. And over the course of 8, 10, 12 months, they built a platform that just had everything that traders wanted. So I love that you guys have that approach. And Josh, you can share my screen whenever you get a moment. But I really like that about you guys and your approach to the way that you're building out the app. And so I wonder, before I get to this tweet here, I saw you guys got spotlight. You guys got highlighted on Spotlight by Pump Fund. But before we get to that, I wanted to ask you about just kind of where you see this going. Like, do you feel like could this get acquired by someone? Like, is that something you'd even be open to, or like where does this all lead in the future?
Yeah, so our plan is to make this the number one trading venue on Solana. I think specifically on mobile, we're doing really well there. And again, like the app's only 3 weeks old, so we think there's a lot of room to grow, and we want to take our entire team and community to the top, right? So we're going to do what is needed to make that happen. But yeah, we definitely shout out Pump for the spotlight. It's cool to see other builders recognizing and supporting other builders. And to your Padre comment, yeah, I think they definitely built like an awesome product. And as you said, it was like over like 8 to 12 months, just like really grinding and getting the software better, getting the algorithms better. And that's one of the reasons why we're so bullish and so excited about what's happening on the Mobi mobile app. Is it's literally only been 3 weeks. So we have a very talented team, and every single day the system is getting better, right? So you give us 30 days, 60, 90 more days, like you're just going to constantly see improvement. You're going to see more users, and then I think that's kind of how like that flywheel really starts to kick off. So I'm really excited where things are right now.
That's
better
awesome.
markets
That's awesome.
ahead as well would help, of course. So last time you were on, you had mentioned you had stealthily bought back, I believe, 0.5% of the supply of Mobi. I don't know if you want to share an update to that and if that number has changed.
Yeah. So now we're getting closer to 1%. My goal when we do release these dashboards is for the top holder of Mobi to be the buyback wallet. And that's one of the things that we're going to kind of do with like this marketing release. So the overall buybacks have been more than the figure I just mentioned. I'm just referring in the past 3 weeks from the mobile app, right? So we're really excited to like push this ICM concept to the limits. And I think it's a very early concept, but we do want to be like one of the pioneers in this category. And I just think we have very straightforward product that people love, tied with like a very straightforward business model and flywheel effect. And I think over time, as the app grows and we get more users, that's going to be very much appreciated by the market.
Absolutely. And I think just going back to your comment about just including ICM, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I think that's a really important piece of this conversation. A lot of ICM projects like to kind of tie value of the token to value of the business is through these kind of buyback models, and they oftentimes work the best. We see Hype do it, and we see that you're being highlighted on Spotlight, which is the new ICM focused side of Pump Fund. So I kind of wanted to just kind of get your take on where you like, what do you think ICM is? Where do you see it going? I mean, we've had others on this show like Vibhu from the Solana Foundation who kind of viewed ICM as a little bit different from how the trenches view it. So like, let's get your definition on it, and in turn, how far, like where you see it all going.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting about it is I think it's the perfect blend of product and community. I think that for me is like what's really cool about it is where your community has skin in the game, but that's like directly tied to a real revenue generating product. And I think the definition and how it's implemented, and whether it's buybacks or like more utility, is going to change over time. But I think the core component that's really exciting from like a builder's perspective is being able to intertwine your community directly with your product through a common asset, right? Which in our case is the Mobi token. And I do think you're going to see a lot more builders, take this approach. I think a lot of people are just like, oh, well, people don't want to have like a token associated with their product, and it could be a headache and all this stuff. But the way we see it is like, look, you can't control the overall market, but you can control shipping and building a fantastic product. And if you continue to do that, and you have the right business model and flywheel in place, over time, that's going to change. And I do think something that's really valuable that we've seen is the community feels more of a sense of ownership and more of a sense of being included in the product, right? And that leads to really valuable feedback and really valuable community engagement. So I give our community so much credit because we built this awesome product with them. Like literally before we even went live with the product, we had a community telegram of around like 300, 400 people who were literally testing the app, providing feedback, finding issues, giving feedback for like little things that could be improved in the UI, so on and so forth. I think what's been cool is that our community has seen them provide a point of feedback and us ship a new build, and like their feedback is implemented into the app, right? And I think they kind of get to put their own stamp on the product. So I am really bullish on ICM. I think a lot of founders are going to take that direction. And at the end of the day, it's still the early innings for this entire ecosystem, but we do want to be a pioneer in this area.
Awesome. Yeah, I wanted to highlight that Telegram community. I think it might need to be renamed soon from global testing to like, I don't know, the whale chat or something, the Moby whale chat, because everyone is a whale in there. But I wanted to highlight this because I saw this. You're giving away codes now, which each code, I believe, is $50 worth of Moby. Can you just talk about how this new code referral system works and what should people do?
Yeah, yes. I'm happy you brought this up. So this is a campaign that our community really loves. It only goes to our most active users. It does not go to everybody. And this is the second one that we've done. And what's really cool is, one, it's very powerful because you are literally basically giving a starter allo in the app to a friend. And in exchange for them coming into the app and you bringing this new user into the app, when they enter that code for that starter allo, they automatically get added under your referral tree. So what we're starting to see is a lot of people being very strategic about how they dish out those codes. And we've already had multiple users who have hit the 100K threshold. So they've cashed out $800 to $1,000 on Moby already in the app. And I think one strategy that I do recommend for people when they get these codes is really think through who you want to give them to. I think there's two strategies that I've seen that have worked. One has been people go directly to traders that they know and say like, yo, like this app's amazing, you got to use it. Here's the code. Like I'm already going to give you like a starting boost, right? And then the other strategy is people do like a really cool thread on Twitter about the Moby app and then have a call to action to DM them. And then they basically vet all the DMs and then give it to who they think is most likely to trade. And it's important because if you give the codes to the right people and you get the right people under your referral tree, that's how people are really getting that reward flywheel going for them personally on their accounts. Because not only are you earning every single time that person trades, you're earning every single time somebody that they invite trades or somebody that they invited who they invite trades, right? So you really want to pick people with like the right.
You're top of the pyramid at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to pick people with who trade and then or trade and have the ability to invite other people to the app as well. So it's been really cool to see people take on different game theory as to how they want to do it. I've even seen cases where people don't have a following on Twitter, so they're going to other social channels, right, and just like putting a detailed thread on a Reddit or doing something on TikTok, right? So I think what's cool is we're basically giving you the tools to help grow your referral tree, and people really like that. And what's cool too is the referral rewards in our app are real time. So you can turn on a push notification setting and literally get an alert every single time someone in your referral network trades. I had that on, but I've referred a lot of people, so for me personally, I had to turn that off. I was getting like a new notification every second, 24 hours a day, literally. But I think for a lot of users, it's great because you're seeing yourself earn these rewards in real time as you grow your base on the app. So it's really motivating.
Yeah, I love that. I have to ask, the tokens that are being issued out they have some threshold where I think you have to trade a certain amount. So you've modeled it where it balances the revenues that you generate from someone trading, like kind of makes sense with the amount that you're giving out. I don't know. That was a bit jumbled, but yeah, maybe address that because people wonder.
Yeah, so we've modeled it out where the buybacks are more powerful or overtake the reward distribution. But even on that point, I think what's like really interesting is we always share this screenshot. If you actually go to our Twitter, we tweeted it, I think on Monday. It's like a compare and contrast chart. But if you do compare us with other mobile apps, we give the most cash back of any mobile app. Most of these mobile apps don't give any cash back. And then we have, the best or one of the best referral programs in terms of percentage on the app, right? So, in an average scenario, we're giving up, 55% on average back to the community on a trade. So it's really cool because this is going to grow, but
Yo, G MCG, G ICM, G Asset Dash, G Moby. What a day, man! A little bit different than we're used to. Mateus is on here, the beautiful man himself. Chill, Josh, my co-hosts, lovely guys. Wow, what a time to be alive. I mean, I could kick us off, but I think Mateus is probably the best to do it. Like, what's going on here? Why are we on a different screen these days?
yeah, no, super excited about this. So came together really quickly. Shout out the MCG team. We're huge fans of the stream, and we've been cooking behind the scenes. To turn the Acid Dash X into a full-fledged, news and media arm. And we want to get the best streamers in the game to stream from the account. So we're kicking things off today. Super excited about it. It's going to be a little residency of sorts. And, the goal for the Acid Dash X is to make this the number one place to stay ahead of the market. It's two core pillars that we're going to be introducing. One is starting right now with streams where, top market news, ICM, whatever, topics are hot in the market can, be discussed, and, people can come in, learn, hear alpha interviews from, founders, and just get end-to-end, knowledge and exposure as to what's happening in the market. And then the second component that we're about to roll out probably early next week is going to be a real-time news feed on the Acid Dash account, and we're really excited about that. And the goal is for this to be, the fastest market-breaking news surfaced directly on your X account, whether it's TradFi, crypto, ICM, breaking real news in real time, so you can stay ahead of the markets.
Let's go, dude. We got Pepe in here. He's been a Moby user, one of our good supporters from MCG.
We talked
Moby.
him off the perps cliff a little bit and got him in Moby. So
yeah, he's 90% done there. So how's the progress bar been for a lot of people? We saw originally people were like, it's impossible, it's hard to achieve. But we got Pepe here about 90% done. Maybe some words on that.
Yeah, multiple people already hit it. And I think we talked about it on the stream yesterday. I think the way people are hitting it are, obviously, trading using the product, but really referring friends. Over half of the members on the Moby app have been referred by somebody else. And I think that's a testament to how much people really enjoy the product. They're having a great time trading on it. They believe it's, the best way to trade Solana coins on mobile. We feel the same way, and they're telling their friends about it. And it's a really juicy referral program. Not only do you earn 30% off of everybody that you invite, but you earn from people that they invite and then people that those people invite. So we're early. The app's only been out for 3 weeks. So I think a lot of people are realizing that, this app has potential to become one of the top trading venues on Solana. It's already on that path and growing tremendously, and taking advantage of the fact that since the app's new and it's early, they can leverage the fact that they can take their referral link and onboard as many people as possible.
You guys, you were quick to pivot. You saw the numbers, you saw the feedback, and you said, hey, we're all in on this app.
Yep.
There's something here telling us to go all in. Maybe walk us through the thought process there that told you guys just, hey, we're diving in and we're going to switch this Asset Dash to a go-to media arm now.
Yeah, so it was a few things. One, the Moby app release really exceeded all of our expectations. It's growing incredibly quick, over 40,000 users already in the top 10 on Solana in terms of app trading volume. And we just think the total addressable market here is massive, right? If you just look at all the other apps in the Solana ecosystem when it comes to trading volumes, there's apps that are printing, hundreds of thousands of dollars a day in fees. So when we look at Moby, we look at the flywheel, 50% of those fees go to buying back Moby. The biggest and greatest opportunity for us in the community is for our devs to go all in on the Moby app and work with the community to make this number one. And we feel like we're on that path. On the Acid Dash side, it's really interesting because the account has followers from all over, right? The Acid Dash app was a multi-chain portfolio tracker, also supported equities. So, we have, even on our release, like Stock Market News, right, replied on that announcement from the Acid Dash account when we were switching to going all in on Moby. So we have people from equity world, we have people from Solana, from Hyperliquid, from Ethereum, from Arbitrum. So the follower base on this account is very broad, and it was just a natural fit for us to say, you know what, we actually think an all-encompassing financial markets news account is needed. I think more and more people are turning to X for their number one source for news. And we feel like we have the tools and the resources to really build the number one account for breaking financial news and in general, all alpha, right? And I think the two, I guess, trajectories that I'm really excited about is, one, real-time breaking news, and two, I think streaming, right? Streaming is gonna be massive, and you guys crush it. We're all huge fans of the show, everybody on our team, and this is an opportunity to, introduce our audience to this great content, right? Where you're gonna learn more, you're gonna be able to position yourself for more success in the market.
Yeah, and I think for us, it's like we built the show around giving people access to founders that can drop alpha live on stream rather than a tweet. So a tweet gets picked up in the algo, the bots chase it, the quick click traders get it. So really founders can come in, give kind of a background about what they're building, and then people can decide, like, is that person someone I trust? Do I believe in what they're doing? Get the vibe beyond the marketing. And we've been marketed to relentlessly in crypto for years behind people that we don't even know. And so we've kind of humanized that. Obviously, ICM is this idea that you're trading everything other than meme coins and DeFi and NFTs, and it's like real businesses that are being built on Solana. So if you're new to this, we're really excited about this partnership. Go follow at Microcap Gem Show. We will, I shouldn't announce that yet, but we're really excited about working with Asset Dash on becoming the biggest media platform in crypto. That's the
for
goal.
sure, 100%. And I think one of the things to comment on what you just shared there, our number one goal with Moby and our team's goal is to help everyone become a better investor, right? I think from our discovery algorithm, the way we built the product, the clean UI, we want to put signal in front of you and reduce noise. And I do feel like that's the same exact thesis as to what we're doing with the Asset Dash X account and this broader media push is, real-time breaking news helps you stay ahead of the market and react quickly when things happen, and super quality streams like the ones that you guys have put together, just like you said, meet the founders, hear the narrative, and use that as one of the centerpieces for your research as to whether you want to, invest, whatever decision you want to make. But I think that 1-2 punch is incredibly powerful. So we're stoked, super excited about this partnership, and we're going to blow this up.
Can we talk a little bit about how Asset Dash and your new, news anchor, news arm is going to work? Maybe you guys haven't fully fleshed out the structuring, but I'd be really curious to hear how that's going to look.
For sure. So I think right now, like within the next week, what you can expect, literally starting today, is the two core pillars that we're focusing on is one, the streaming residence that we're doing with you guys, right? Where people can tune in on the account and, engage in these streams, learn, find out about alpha, learn about projects, founders, so on and so forth, right? So I think that's one part, is like the longer form content where you can pick up on different pieces of information that can ideally help you advance as an investor. The second component is the real-time breaking news, which we're working on now, really powerful algorithm that we're building. And I think what's interesting about the way we're doing it is it pulls from all these different areas, right? It pulls from crypto, it pulls from TradFi, and it also pulls from political content that is related to financial markets. And we're going to encompass that all into one account. And I do think that's really needed in this space, because I think, one of the theses behind Asset Dash is like people are becoming crossover investors. I think that thesis is still true today. So to have one news account that's breaking news across all these different markets is incredibly important. And I think it's only going to get more important over time, right? The ETFs, the DATs, the equity world and the crypto world are becoming one, right? You're seeing, DATs on the equity side, and you're seeing, tokenized securities, right, coming onto the crypto Web3 side of things. So I think for us to be able to conjoin that into one account that's breaking all of this news across these different markets is going to be super alpha producing.
And maybe, Mateus, give me your thoughts. It feels like in crypto, we're in such an echo chamber sometimes, and all we hear is our little circle, our little bubble. Why is it important to have an all-encompassing news platform like Asset Dash to give you equities, give you TradFi, give you crypto, give you ICM, give you meme coins?
Yeah, because I think the next wave of on-chain investing is going to come from the equity world, right? And I think to have a channel that is combining all of this, these different markets into one is really important, right? But I also, it's a really interesting thing, because you're seeing investors go both ways, right? You're seeing investors from the equity world come into the on-chain world, and you're seeing on-chain investors move into stocks, right? So the fact that the media channel could be positioned to encompass both of these markets, I think is incredibly important. I think another thing too that you guys do a great job of is also education, right? So if there's 20, 30,000 followers on this account that are really focused on equities, I would love for them to be able to listen to your stream and learn about ICM, right? And be introduced to this new theme, and vice versa. When we're doing the equity and the TradFi new stuff on our accounts, there may be somebody who is on the Mobi app, right, where you can buy tokenized securities right now, and finds out that, hey, something big just happened with Robinhood. You can literally, one tap buy tokenized Robinhood in Mobi right now. So
and we even saw this morning with Tensor being acquired, and the Tensor holders, just like the Padre holders and the KOL scan holders, they kind of get the uncertainty side of the end of that deal. And whereas we've been covering stuff like MetaDAO and SOAR, which are doing, things like equity anchors, or, doing the Futarki model, or, a senior debt note as representing the token. So there's some sort of tie for the token to the underlying business beyond just like trust us, bro, and like trust us revenue kind of in the future. So yeah, I think these are all things we want to do to level up the trenches.
For sure. And I think too, if you look out like 1, 2, 3 years.
And I noticed this airdrop thing. That wasn't referencing that specifically. Tensor's just in discussion in general. So yeah.
Yeah, no. Oh, on that too as well. Like, we wanted to do something for the Vector and Tensor community.
Yeah.
They're sunsetting the app. So if you were trading there, we have an opportunity for you to come onto the Mobi app and start.
There you go. You're saving the Tensor fam.
Yeah. Starter allocation. I think if you're already used to trading on mobile, this is a great opportunity for you to easily convert over to another Mobi app, another mobile app with the Mobi app, which is on iOS and Android. Super easy. You can follow the instructions in that post, and it applies to anybody who's traded on Vector, traded on Tensor, and even if you transferred funds out of Vector, right? We still log that. So connect your wallet, see if you're eligible, and then get into the Mobi app. And I think you're really going to enjoy it. And to your earlier point, I do think if you look out 2-3 years from now, the as more real world assets come on chain, the typical on chain portfolio that I expect to see in the Mobi app is going to be a combination of tokens, right? Tokenized equities, RWAs like gold, right? You're gonna be able to build a completely diverse portfolio natively on Solana, and you can already do this now in the Mobi app. You can right now in the Mobi app buy OpenAI, private equity. You can buy, Robinhood or Coin or SPY, and you can also buy, meme coins, right, or ICM coins, right? And I think that's the big opportunity for on chain, and I'm really excited about it. And I think this media arm is just gonna push that to the next level.
Well, this is the concept that Robinhood, I would say, really made Robinhood just such a blowout success today. It's one of my favorite stocks to trade.
Yep.
But just, taking it from, hey, you have to go through this broker with your bank, to you can just go straight through Robinhood. It's super easy, super simple, clean UI, and if someone can do that for crypto and then combine that with equities, private equities, markets, public markets, there's such a big opportunity here. So it's like you're really biting off a big piece to chew on. But I think there's a lot of angles, and you guys have the IP, you guys have the assets, you guys have everything in place to make it work. So, we're proud to have you guys as a sponsor of the show, and so excited to see what you guys do with it. Are you in a Chipotle, Mateus?
Am I? No, I'm not. I'm actually same lights, right?
Yeah, dude. I was gonna say, hey, little
No.
Mobi airdrop. Whoever can go find Mateus first.
No, I'm actually in a co-working space.
Okay, got you.
But
Buy the guy a burrito. Come on.
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. We're gonna come here with some nachos.
Yeah, right.
All right, Mateus, we got to get into the next segments, but thank you. And we'll run it up on Asset Dash today.
Let's do it. Super excited, guys.
All right.
Take care.
See you,
Bye.
man.
Guys, code MCG. You see right in the bottom there. Go download the Mobi app. If you want to get trading on your phone, on your computer, whatever it is, go download the app. Get that real-time info and news feed. It looks like they're going to be putting in a lot of time and work to making it a go-to place to get all the information you need to make investable decisions. Chill, you're with us. What's going on, brother?
GM. Yeah, I was having some issues here, some technical issues, but your boy is back, ready. Stream is going to be live.
A tad
Stream is
too
gonna
many.
be crazy.
A tad
Too many per usual. But dude,
GICM,
I'm so excited.
Maru.
Maru, GICM, brother.
You can even buy wrapped Zcash and hype on Mobi without swapping. Oh, didn't know that. Nice. Pepe.
See, look, Pepe, you need to be what's it called when you go and share everything with everyone? You're like doing evangelism. Yeah, you're doing evangelism for Mobi right now.
Microcap Gem Show saved my crypto future. Very amazing co-host. Respect. Thanks Andrew Seb, shout out you. We see you in the chat, of course, all the time.
Yo, wait, Pepe, you gotta tell us, how do we save your future, brother? You gotta tell us,
dude. Well, he's told us the
It would
story.
be-
It's Pepe was going down the dark rabbit hole of trading perps 24/7.
Yeah.
And 10-10, it wasn't the prettiest, and he's like done with it. He's done with it. He's on Moby Moby now, and no more perps.
Yeah.
Love
So I
that
want to share
story,
the
bro.
quick schedule for our Asset Dash listeners. We have a ICM packed lineup today. So starting off with launch on SOAR in like 9 minutes, we have Meme Pewter, CPT, ICM, Kled, and Viva. So awesome lineup. These are all the top leading ICM projects, and they actually, relative performance compared to other parts of the crypto segment. A lot of these projects have done decently or held up fairly well. I mean, if you're a dupe investor or a Kled holder and you have a long-term outlook, a Viva holder, you're sitting okay. A lot of things look really rough.
And maybe we'll give a quick summary, and then we'll talk to the co-host a little bit here on just how we're feeling in general. Market is puking again, as is typical for the entire week and month per se. But maybe could you actually pull that screen back up with our? Yeah, I actually have it with our announcements. All right. Okay, sweet. Yeah, so you can see, guys, maybe I'll give a little breakdown of each one so you guys have a better idea. You can see we have at 12:10 launch on SOAR coming on. We got Tom from Launch, obviously the founder of SOAR, and they're doing that debt equity structure that we talked about a little bit. It's a pretty cool new primitive within ICM, and giving token holders real value, right? After that, we got Meme Pewters. They're building one-click, easy to build AI agents that can, execute X402 payments as well as, do certain tasks. So again, pretty easy click, one-click AI agents. Then we have CPT, right, or Impulsor. CPT stands for contactless power transfer, and that is the technology coming out of Impulsor Tech. And of course, Patrick is going to be joining us today. That is Launch on SOAR's first launch, and it's the first people using this debt equity anchor or debt equity structure that's been created by Tom Curry and the squad over at SOAR. So pretty cool stuff there. Huge, massive market and opportunity. They're doing some really cool stuff. So that's going to be an interesting chat. There's been a lot of buzz around them. ICM.run. We know that they're a massive incubator. They recently came out with a goal to stake, to make $1 million per week for their stakers of ICM token. And by doing so, they're implementing a pretty cool new strategy by building 3 different products in-house. We're going to go and cover all 3 of those today. After that, we have Kled. You guys probably all know about infamous Avi Patel from Kled.
We need a Patel mode update.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to get. Actually, I just saw he sunsetted his, I say sunset just because that's the word I've been hearing all day. But he did a live stream the other day where he just dropped insanely dense alpha on Kled, some contracts, what they've been doing, their new Hades, a bunch of stuff there. He actually did not keep that recorded. He turned that recording off. I'm thinking because he maybe leaked too much alpha. And I say that because of some personal conversations with him, but he'll be coming on today and hopefully running that exact same playbook back for you guys and sharing all the updates with Kled. And then last but not least, sponsor of the show, Viva. We got them coming on. Of course, they are a multi-billion-dollar holdco company. They acquired Viva, the telecom company in Bolivia, and they turned it around, doubling their yearly profits, and they want to prove this model out and maybe do it for others. So Viva is a super cool product, and we'll have Nate come on and talk about their massive update.
One of the biggest projects in ICM that's adding new holders. They added new holders every 24 hours. They're onboarding the entire country. 1 million subscribers or 3 million subscribers they have in Bolivia, and they're onboarding those. And so we're starting to see it run up. So yeah, thanks to Met, Viva, Orgo, Moby. So if you're watching this show, go tell them that you love MCG. They support us. And so all your views, all your likes, retweets, etc., go a long way to helping us continue this work. So do we want to go through some charts real quick before Tom gets on? We have 5 minutes.
We got 5 minutes. I'll let Chill use his discretion there. I don't even want to look at these charts, man. It's rough.
To be honest, yeah. I mean, look, not much to look at with these charts. Going back to our interview yesterday, I mean, look, if you guys are just joining us for the first time on Asset Dash, number one, we are an ICM show. But number two, we also have what's called Trader Radio, where we bring on notable traders from the space and talk about their thoughts on the market. We did that just yesterday with a big trader. His name is Trader Mercury. Very, very good Chad, been in the market for years. And his advice yesterday was actually pretty groundbreaking, although it's pretty simple advice. He said, take a break. Right? Like reminds us that, this market, yes, it is 24/7, but that doesn't mean that we need to be involved every second of every day. Right. So I really like that advice that he gave yesterday. But I mean, look, if you guys want to look at charts, good God.
Come on, we gotta give the people something. They're looking at it anyways. So
we can do a macro. You know what? Bitcoin has bounced at least.
yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to do macro or on chain.
I'll do macro. So I got my chart here. We've had this box, these boxes drawn out for quite a long time, right? And so far, all we've seen is just Bitcoin puking, right? But today we finally get this nice bounce. And if you go down to lower time frames, it actually looks a lot better here.
Nice bounce, as in I woke up this morning, saw we were down like 5-6%, went back to sleep, and now we're only down 2%. So a nice bounce is only down 2% on the day.
So for whatever it's worth, I mean, we are seeing some sort of green today. But this is I would say the biggest kind of reaction on a high time frame that we've seen. And we've discussed all week that we're in a big monthly demand zone. But we also have a weekly demand zone as well as a lower time frame demand zone as well. And we finally got to the deepest part of this demand zone, and we're actually seeing a bounce, which is what we want to see. So let's see if we get some continuation on it. But honestly, like charts are looking wrecked. I mean, look at
that Bitcoin note too. I will say, if you guys look at a liquidity heat map, right? So if you look at the order books and you see where everyone had their, their stop losses for perps, a lot of them were triggered under this, I guess you could call it flush out today that we had. So we saw a lot of wipeout. I would imagine there's more under that 75 area, but when you look at the liquidity heat map, it's not quite showing up. So we saw $1 billion wiped out, I want to say today, from that flush. I don't quote me on that, but is the worst of it over? I don't know. That's the question. We're seeing like the DAT unwind is what people are calling this. And, we saw 10-10 liquidations, and people are trying to make up for their losses by market selling Bitcoin to, pay back what they have to. You can actually see that if you look at the chart, like the Bitcoin chart on Coinbase compared to some other exchanges, you see there's like $100 difference, which goes to show there's constant selling on exchanges, causing that arbitrage. We saw that we saw like a week straight where there was $100 to $200 difference in price. But yeah, there it is. So
and here's the Coinbase. Oh no, that's Bitstamp. I believe I have the Coinbase chart. Yeah, here's the Coinbase chart here. But yeah, it is like $100 difference or so.
There you go.
It was just like a $200 difference just a second ago. But yeah, no, you're right, dude. Look, $1 billion liquidation happening in the market right now. So crazy time. Hopefully this marks some sort of bottom for us and we can actually get at least a relief bounce, man. Like that's really, I'm not even saying we're going to new all-time highs, although that is my base case. But like, at least for the short term, like let's at least get a bounce. Show that the markets have some sort of life in it.
We have Peter Schiff on CoinDesk live right now, just dunking on our heads. So every time he shows up, it's like I feel that's
bottom
like
signal,
little bottom signal.
It is. That's when the echo chambers expanded to mainstream and everyone's scared. And you talk about. But imagine if there was a product you could buy, right? Imagine if you could invest in a token that wasn't necessarily tied to the crypto markets because it had actual underlying equity and equity in a company. That'd be pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I wonder who's doing that.
I don't know. Tom, what's up? Any thoughts on that theory we just threw out? How's that sound?
I was going to do a lesson on filing Chapter 7 bankruptcy. If you guys want to do it.
Yeah, guys.
Not the time, Tom. Not the time.
Yeah, so I saw Tensor just got acquired, or Vector got acquired from Tensor.
Yeah, well, okay, we can talk about that. Can we just give we might have a new audience here because as you know, we're streaming on Asset Dash today. So Tom,
Okay.
maybe give us a quick introduction of yourself and what you're building at SOAR
Cool.
before we jump into Vector and how you guys kind of fix this issue.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm Tom. I'm CEO of SOAR. We're allowing or enabling anyone anywhere to invest in startups all over the world using on-chain rails, but our model is very akin to Web 2. If you think of like tokenized equity, our model works in similar ways. We used a senior debt model, which is quite interesting, gives us liquidation preference. Tokens aren't securities, don't have any participation rights, but we do enable the value of the company to actually be passed back to the token holders.
Sweet. Well, we're loving what you're doing here. Obviously, MCG's big fans. But with that note, we saw a great test case and use case for SOAR and why you guys have value with this acquisition of Vector.fun and basically rendering the Tensor token valueless. Firstly, what do you think about that? And how do you guys figure this out?
Yeah, well, this is the frustrating part of tokens, right? We can't have a serious industry whereby no one ever owns anything, and as soon as the company gets acquired, essentially token holders get rugged. There was also a very odd pre-pump on this one, which I thought was very concerning. So you have some insider trading paired with also token holders getting screwed.
Lovely.
Welcome to crypto, I guess, in 2025. This needs to stop. This isn't a serious industry when things like this happen. The only way you stop this is you tie the token directly back to the company itself, whereby token holders are getting some intrinsic benefits tied to the company, right? In our model, for example, assuming that some company on our platform got acquired and used our model, used DRP, essentially what would happen is that say they got acquired for $100 million. If there was a 5% circulating supply, $5 million would pass back to SOAR, which we would then be able to distribute at our deference back to token holders, right? So there is no rug in that case. There is no you getting screwed. The value gets passed back to you. You're happy because the company succeeded, and token holders and everyone walks away happy, right? Unfortunately, in this case, and what we've seen with KOL Scan and Padre and a bunch of other cases is that you don't own anything. The sooner people realize that and the sooner people start buying things that actually give you ownership, the better off we are.
I think we saw the exact same playbook with Padre. Actually, we saw pre-announcement token pump on Padre mysteriously happen. We saw the acquisition, it nuked because people found out there was no value, and then it seemed like Pump Fund kind of walked it back on that and said, "Hey, actually, we pre-planned this. We're going to give you guys some sort of one-to-one value in the pump token." Do we see something like that for Tensor?
I don't think they do because Tensor still has a marketplace, so they're going to play it like, oh, they still have other products that you can invest in. But the reality is that Tensor as a product has been quite quiet for, I don't know, 2 years now, I guess, going back to 2023 when they got pretty popular. They took, I mean, at one point they did flip, I believe, Magic Eden, if I'm speaking about the right product.
Yeah, they did. When I think they were doing a points program,
They were
so
doing a
everyone
points
kind of
program.
jumped over.
Mm-hmm.
But so why is it important to companies for companies to have some underlying value? We've seen, I think, token utility be a big battle with people where it's like, oh, I launch a token, but it's really hard to integrate any sort of meaningful utility. And then you guys kind of slash that by saying, well, we'll just give you straight, some ties to the company here. Maybe tell us why that's important. And we can talk about CPT too, the first project that launched through you guys that's doing this. Coming on.
Yeah. So number one, Web 2 companies, we always want them to come on chain for the first time, right? The reality is that trying to tie utility into Web 2 companies is nearly impossible. You can do discounts and fees and this and that. It never works. There is actually no value accrual right there. What you end up seeing is people come on chain, they launch a token, they drive all of the value back to their Web 2 equity, right, or entity, and then eventually the token just fades away because there actually is no value accrual. And then we have people screaming on Twitter like, why are people not valuing our companies at 20x PE ratios, right? It's like, because you don't own anything. Like, at the end of the day, there's value when you own a share. You can talk about how much value you actually get, but tokens, they enable you to get value in simply buybacks or, greater fool theory, right? That's what you're buying into, is those two theories there.
Okay, so maybe talk a bit about your pipeline. I think that's one thing that excites me the most about SOAR. You guys went live with CPT as your first launch. Obviously, you deeply vetted them. There's some people have certain things to say about them, which I think we'll address later on. But what's your pipeline looking like? Any more launches coming up? What should the people be really paying attention to?
Yeah, our pipeline is huge. So we took a little bit of break after CPT. There was a bunch of, to first stage products. So we wanted to go back and fix, improve trading. There was a couple different things with our fee structuring that we wanted to amend. We'll be back next week for sure. We have some really cool stuff coming up. I'm like super excited about the next one. I think it's the first time on chain that you'll be able to invest in this type of product. So it's a product that you see everywhere, and I'll leave it at that. That's my little bit of a hint to you. But we also have a ton of other stuff coming, a bunch of really cool AI products, some of which are one product has over 1 million users right now, a couple $1 million in revenue a year. Another AI product, which I think is great and very novel. Their closest comp in crypto is $500 million token, and they're tokenizing for the first time. So bunch of really random stuff. We want to diversify and enable people to invest in whatever they want to. Whatever your interests are, we're going to have something for you on SOAR pretty quickly.
You guys had a little bit of sniper action going on for the CPT launch. How have you guys, maybe realign yourself going into the next one to avoid that?
Yeah, it's always a fun cat and mouse game, right? It's like anti-bot at its core. We've put a lot of thought into basically how, dissecting how the sniper actually got access early on. So we're going to change up the methods of how to do so. I think we'll win on this one. I think we will lose inevitably in the future. But like I said, it's always going to be changing things and kind of changing how we release things. I know people want us to do some whitelist stuff. So we have talked about that internally. For some of the bigger stuff, we probably most certainly will do that. The higher value stuff will be something that we want to whitelist and just give people that are active on the platform, people that are trading a lot, our best holders, maybe give them a little bit of early access so that we don't even have to fight snipers.
Let's talk about that. Maru says, Captain, I feel the SOAR VIP badge advantages revealing soon. Is this going to be some ties to the VIP badge, to holder benefits? How can we get access to whitelists on specific projects?
Next week, there's going to be a nice rollout that I think everyone will enjoy. And you'll see a little bit of some new stuff coming. I think that'll tie directly back to next week.
Dom,
Eyes on for next week. Eyes on SOAR.
I
have notifications on, Tom.
Yeah, totally. And I do want to show off the platform real quick before we get too far into the conversation. So this here is the SOAR homepage. The number one thing to look out for, because there's 1,500 projects, but only one currently curated. So you really want to find this curated badge. Tom, can you talk to us about a curated launch versus a non-curated launch?
Totally. So we basically have 3 different levels of launches on the platform right now. So we have like permissionless, i.e. anyone can go deploy a token. Then we have a verified launch. That means that we have a third party that actually KYB and KYCs your launch. So you know that you're not investing in a company that's hacked, right? We do domain verification, for example. You're getting a non-hacked website. You're getting a company that is KYB'd and actually exists an entity. And the third thing is you're KYCing, right? So the founders are actually KYCing to us. So all of those things are things that I think in ICM, if you're running a real business, you shouldn't be undoxed for the most part, right? Very hard to be a person that's hidden and also running a company as a CEO. So we basically enable everyone in that verified to say, hey, I'm a real person. Hey, I'm a real business. I want to launch my token. Here it is, right? And the last one is this curated, which takes the verified, everything that verified is, and then also is, I wouldn't say incubated by us, but we have a lot of in-depth conversations with them. We see if they're legit. Are they building? Do they have the TAM opportunity, the large outsized opportunity that we think requires or deserves a curated badge? So that's the highest level of DD that our team does. We meet with people in person. We meet with them over multiple video calls. We see how far along they are. And like I said, how big their upside is one of the things that we look at a lot.
Look at that. I have an early flyer badge. I noticed this on my profile. Also, guys, this really cool, I don't even know what you call this.
Captain
That's
card,
maybe? We call it the boarding pass.
Awesome, the boarding pass.
I like that.
And then if you zoom it in, like if you look really closely, there's some funny lore in there, but I won't say it on stream. You can go find it.
go to the top and go to launch on Soar and then slash in loyalty. So I'll send you the link. Hold on.
Yeah.
Also, can we do a quick check on if you go to the search bar? I want to see if that Dinero Dom account surpassed Tom.
Oh, yo.
So
I
Tom
don't think
has
so, bro.
193.
But
Come on,
almost
guys.
Wenzel. You almost got Wenzel, so that's a dub. But yeah.
Wenzel's just one piece of the puzzle. I got to knock off Captain Beef up there.
Here, gentlemen.
How about the name though? You know, I got the Dom 3-letter username. It's pretty OG,
The
right?
Dom is fire. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of jealous because my name is so long on this platform.
Dude. Terrible.
We also added a bunch of, I don't know if you saw, but we added a bunch of social features this week in terms of notifications. The forums are getting a little bit more revamped. So constantly thinking about how we can engage people on the platform a little bit more. I don't want to say chat because I feel like I'll get clowned, but we are making sure that people can communicate.
Wow, this design and UI is beautiful.
It'll be a lot better next week. This is just a little teaser that I figured you guys might want to see. I don't even know if you can see it on the website yet.
Okay, Tom, you said there would be benefits for buying on app, holding on app, potentially benefits. I should clarify. We saw there were some challenges buying CPT on the app. Just lots of people, lots of traffic. It was a little laggy, tough fills. Should we be buying on app come the next launch?
So no, because that coming soon button is going to change to a connect your wallet button very quickly. So you'll be able to connect a cold wallet, Ledger, whatever, etc. I would prefer people buy an app just because I like seeing people use it. I also like seeing if there's any bugs with buying because we did improve a lot of stuff. But if you're using a trading terminal, etc., you're welcome to do so. Just make sure next week, come when this announcement comes out, you connect that wallet over there, no matter what wallet you're trading on. So that's my tip there.
Is it like an internal discussion to try to give some sort of edge for in-app users rather than, obviously you have all the information there, right? That's a big edge, I guess you could say. But like, is there going to be some sort of push to give a benefit to buying in-app rather than buying on terminals?
We do have a structure set up internally. We haven't used it yet, whereby buying on the app would be your best bet for an early launch. So yes, I would like to get people kind of force them onto the platform a little bit more for certain launches. Otherwise, I don't really care that much about it. But we want to make the experience more akin to, maybe like a Robinhood buying experience over time. So we'll have some limit orders and stuff that we probably add in the next couple months.
So as far as the trading experience, like what's the overall vision for the trading experience on Soar? Like, I know it's mostly a platform where typically you just buy and hold, but are you gonna like add in some more features? Like, what's the broader vision for the trading on Soar?
So the broad vision is that in a lot of ways, the platform operates as this early stage stock market, right? That's what we've thought about it for a long time. So what are some of the pros of a stock market, right? Like having bigger indices is something that we'd like to add at some point. Within legal boundaries, we have to think about that, but it would be cool to have some indices whereby there's a certain group of projects that you're able to kind of diversify across without having to click 50,000 buttons to do so.
Would they be Soar exclusive indexes?
More than likely, yes. Because we have so many projects in the pipeline, we're going to be able to very quickly build out this little NASDAQ, et cetera, right, of different projects that we feel like are high quality. And obviously there's some value in diversifying so that, you minimize your fluctuations every day. The second thing, like I mentioned earlier, is like limit orders, things like that. We're also looking into some type of futures. In some ways, I'm so sick of like perps being a thing. Yeah. I'm so sick of people getting liquidated. I almost like the idea of I trade stocks a good bit, right? And I always just buy calls. Like I enjoy buying calls because I can just sit on them and not worry about getting liquidated the following morning. So I have thought a lot about if we go back to just doing some type of calls and puts options on some of these tokens. It would be quite interesting to do. It also enables us to add different trading experiences. So things that are all in the works. I don't need to rush it though. Our main focus is onboarding projects. Like we want good stuff on the platform. The rest of that all comes in time.
So we have 5 minutes left here, and I want to go through this first launch because CPT was the first launch. It's a drone / energy wireless energy transfer company. It's really cool. We won't spill all the beans, but we'll talk about the structure of the launch. So what's unique about your launches is the tokens are secured by a senior debt note. Is that correct?
Yep, it is.
And
Super senior debt.
Super senior debt. The circulating market cap is about 10% or maybe a bit less than the FDV. Can you just walk us through this structure here?
And
CPT?
also, real quick before that too, I'll just pull up my screen because someone had a question.
Oh, that question about I know what there is.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
I already answered this on Twitter, but I'll happily answer it again.
Yes, please.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, cool. So yes, so CPT, full disclosure, 5% into the bonding curve in LP, right? So that's that 5% that represents the senior debt. And then additionally, they had a market maker. So 1% went to a market maker paired with USDC. So they sent dual-sided liquidity. I think I talked about that last time I was on the show.
Yeah.
So for a grand total of 6% floating circulating supply, right? That is currently tradable. Now, to add on to that, if you go on, I think CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, right? Technically, by their definition, it is 10%. And I'll tell you why. The market maker and centralized exchange wallet, which can only be released upon verification through myself or one of our team members. We have to say, hey, this is a real market maker. This is a real centralized exchange, right? And then we actually send the tokens directly to that entity. They never go to the team, but they're unlocked and they are technically by CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko definitions circulating, right? They're not actually circulating because they're sitting in wallets. And you can look at a tracker and see that. 1% of tokens goes to our treasury. They aren't going to be sold, obviously. They just stay in the treasury. They're our investment in the company, if you want to think about it that way. Those tokens also technically are not locked. They're just sitting in a wallet, will not be touched. When you go to CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, they have a bunch of requirements, and we have to just confirm that, hey, these tokens aren't technically locked. Thereby, they say 10%. Realistically, the 6% that shows on the website is actually what's tradable, what will actually hit the open market.
Got it. A few features I just want to highlight here for people because this is unique to this platform and I think solves a lot of problems. Is you have issuer verification. You have also these things called artifacts. So in here you can actually see things like, I haven't looked at this one, so actually I want to go check it out, but things like the patent filing, their deck, obviously. So I'll show this. This is actually CPT's patent filing, and we're going to ask Patrick about some of these things here. But this isn't just like issue token, source done. There's a chain of custody of information and documents that are kind of backing this issuance. So really unique. First,
it's how you're supposed to invest in startups at the end of the day, right?
Of course.
Like this on chain where I'm trying to figure out if their website's hacked or their Twitter's hacked or if they're real people. Like it's for the birds, man. Like it was fun for a little while, and then I get rugged 5,000 times in a row, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Like number one, I'm not good at this. Number two, like I would just like some type of verification that these companies are real. So we need to create a really trusted environment. Will we always be right and correct? No, but we're trying our best to really put good stuff, quality stuff on there.
And one last feature that I love is this message board here. It's a forum, pretty JSON. He says he fucking loves this. So that's awesome. But also Patrick coming in with an update. Again, founder comms to the core holder community as well as on X. So I'll leave her there because we have to wrap in a minute. Maybe Tom, final thought.
Yeah. I think we're at an inflection point. Obviously the market sucks, but I think that the ICM guys and ICM community are extremely strong, to be honest with you. Like they're all holding the line and being like, ICM's a great hedge. I fully agree. The beautiful thing about, investing in companies is that they don't go to zero overnight, like some of our bags, unfortunately. So I can sleep comfy at night knowing that the stuff I'm trying to buy and invest in is going to be stuff whereby the company is still functioning. They're not affected by the broader market downswings and such. Bitcoin and Ethereum are great, but once we get past that, most altcoins are not great. And the reality is it's just a value accrual problem, right? These, go on base and you trade on base, right? Where are the fees going? They're going to Coinbase. They're going to Coinbase's balance sheet. At the end of the day, they take care of equity holders first. That doesn't work for tokens, right? In general, we need one single source of value accrual Our model is the best public way to do so. I'll be honest with you. I highly recommend that if you're a serious company and you're looking to launch and actually show your holders that they mean something to you, using our standard or something very similar to it is the only way to say we're accruing all of our value back to our token. Equity and token are in a lot of ways intrinsically linked. And I think the market will reward you, to be honest with you, when you use a model like this. So that's
Tom,
my final thoughts.
And we're at time, but I need these answers. Can you speed run them in 1 minute? Firstly, are we planning on juicing liquidity for next launch? I know some people are saying, well, liquidity is super thin. I don't like that. And how's revenue looking from the first launch?
Cool. Yes, we're looking at different ways to improve liquidity ASAP. Bonding curves are funny in that way, right? Second thing, revenue's excellent. Really happy with the first launch. Need to scale up for sure, but like I said, we're taking our time, doing everything right, getting good quality stuff on there. We've had a lot of opportunities to throw garbage so far. Passed on all of them. Want to be high quality. Not going to sacrifice, our reputation for some quick bucks. Never will. Not in our intentions. So very good, but need to scale up more.
Love it. Love it. Thanks, Tom. As always, it's a pleasure, brother. We'll be keeping those tabs on Soar and probably be talking soon.
We'll be chatting soon.
Appreciate your time. Talk soon.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Meme pewters, boys. We got raw ground beef on to talk about meme pewters. Oh,
let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. What's up, Dom? What's up, Joe?
What's up, my guy? Welcome back. How are you feeling?
Bro, I feel great. It's Friday. I can't complain, man. I'm good.
There you go. Markets are a little shaky, but you guys continue, it seems.
What can you do, man? It's honestly a builder's environment. I'm not going to lie.
100%.
It's the time to dig in, stake a claim, invest in something, believe in something, right?
A lot of times they say that, during the bear market, it's the quietest time. Not saying this is a bear, but it sure does feel like one, right? In some ways. And for builders, it's little noise, more time to build, more time to lock in. How are you guys taking advantage of the kind of market downturn right now?
You said it. I mean, it's quiet, right? So now's the time to show people in your community, if you're building, in public with a token, that you're committed, that that the market sentiment doesn't really matter to you. I mean, I think long term, in the next 5-10 years, AI agents are going to reign supreme. Apps like dissolve into agents, in my opinion. That's sort of my thesis on the whole thing, which is why I'm fully invested, all in on agents. And that's what MemePewter is. It's an agent operating system. So we're just stacking features on features on features and shipping updates daily and weekly and nightly. And if you tune into the X, you'll see that. So you said you think the future is apps dissolving into agents. I would just love to get a more robust thought on that. Yeah. So, I mean, I think, I feel like folks like Elon and others have echoed this sentiment. So this is not like necessarily an original thought, but I think in the future, mainly the computer interface looks something like a chat interface where you just sort of get information and your feeds and whatever you want, your entertainment from a chat interface, whether it's a group chat or a singular chat. ChatGPT just added last night group chat features, so you can actually chat with people and AI, right, in the same thing. I think more and more you're just going to see features integrated into that, and the less you're going to need to actually interact with apps. So my thesis is high-level agents are the new apps, and so on MemePewter you can super easily create an agent with personality, knowledge, commands, integrations, and deploy it into the world. And so, yeah, that's the thesis right now for me, at least. Happy to dig more into it though.
Yeah, no, please do. Please do. I mean, just kind of, and I guess for some of the audience, we have a massive new audience today. So for some of them also kind of give us a little bit more on, MemePewter, who you are, how you've contributed, and what you guys are trying to build.
Sure. Yeah. So MemePewter started out as like an experiment. Could AIs talk to each other and do interesting stuff? And like we started out making agents talk to each other and then launch tokens and tweet and do various things and talk to each other. And that sort of evolved into a community of people going, hey, can you make it do this? Can you make it do that? And then it just sort of evolved naturally into what it is now, where you can create an AI agent, give it personality like tone, bio, style, the way that it communicates with you, et cetera. And then you can give it knowledge. Like you can drop entire giant PDFs, paste in text, markdown, basically give it expertise so that it knows about like your company's information, your token, your whatever. And it becomes your agent's, your company's voice basically. And you can give it commands. I like to think these are like structured, like if you're in a Telegram group, you see slash commands all the time, right? Like slash whatever. We allow you to define custom commands, like structured responses in the form of just like text response or a prompt template, or even like a webhook, like an API webhook, basically turning an agent into an application. Like slash ping would return Pong, slash get the weather for some zip code would give you the weather, or like, you know, anything you can imagine really, basically allowing you to create agents with real applications. And then you can define it once, a single set of commands, a single set of knowledge, a single personality, and integrate it into X, Telegram, and now most recently we have an X402 integration, which allows you to just turn your agent and all their commands into X402 endpoints, which you can go ahead and register on X402 scan immediately and charge for. So we also give your agent a wallet, or 2 wallets. Now we support Base and Solana, and we allow your agent to charge for these commands. We allow your agent to charge for responses and accept tips. And so you can basically just create an agent with all these skills and commands and knowledge and expertise, and they can go and earn money for you in theory. We're just building on that thesis that agents are applications that can go and collect money and build and provide value in return.
I would love to know how you use these agents. Obviously, I'm sure you spin up and use your own product. How do you use Memputer agents in your day-to-day life?
Well, that's a good question. So, I mean, we have an automated agent on the X. It auto replies. You can do that very easily on Memputer. Just create an agent, select X, turn on auto replies on X. You have to connect the X account as well. And then, you know, you can instantly just have it auto replying, which is very technically like cost prohibitive for most people. So we make it super easy. You can just pay 0.25 Sol and just get moving right away. It takes less than 10 minutes. So that's one thing. A lot of people use that. Also, we make it super easy for you to deploy in Telegram bots, which we have many of in our community. Our most popular agent is called PFP Pewter. Everything's a pewter in our ecosystem. It doesn't have to be, but it kind of ended up that way. It's kind of a tongue twister, but PFP, as you know, is profile picture. And so the idea is like, if you have a token or a business, you want people to rock your brand, right? You want people to like, let's say you launched a cat coin, you want everyone to wear the same cat image, right? On Twitter. It's an easy way to like show that you have a cult following and everyone's into it and whatever. So we wanted to sort of put that in a box for people. And so we created an agent called PFP Pewter. It has a command called /PFP, which links up to a webhook, which just all it does is it takes the prompt and it takes 5 reference images of your brand. You can set this up yourself on pfppewter.com. The website kind of stinks right now. I have to implement the design here. But First Pass just kind of threw it out there. It's in the Pay AI community. It's in TG Metrics. It's in a bunch of other communities. And basically, if you're in that community, you can run /PFP with whatever prompt you want. And it's going to create a Memputer like PFP or whatever brand you're in. So Pay AI or TG Metrics or whatever, and it works extremely well, like surprisingly well, and it brings together community. It makes people like active in the chat. We've got a lot of positive sentiment on it, and it's just it's an awesome agent. So we're building products on it. We're building our own agents, but you can do tons of stuff, right? You can, you know, we have a traditional API, not to be confused with the X402 API. We have a traditional API, which if you look at the docs.memputer.com, you can check this out, easily create an API key and create something on your website where your users can just chat with your agent. And if it's trained on your company docs, you can have a chat bot dropped in on your website instantly. We haven't dog fooded that. I just implemented the traditional API like last week, but it works really well, and some people are using it. But yeah, we're definitely dog fooding our product and building as many agents as we can. My focus for my most recent focus has been getting good coverage on X402 scan. So I just deployed PFP Pewter on X402 scan. It's number 4 agent right now on the site, and I think that's a good place to get like good coverage and make sure that you're like integrating properly into the X402 ecosystem. So
what does that do? Like I'm still kind of confused. We've had Pay AI on right before the massive run.
Nice.
So I mean, MCG was definitely kind of onto that. Obviously we had you guys on, and you guys did really well in the X402 narrative, but what is it? I just still can't wrap my head around this thing.
I honestly don't know. No, I'm kidding. It's
like agents paying each other. I get that, but like,
yeah.
What's the purpose of that?
Yeah. So it's just a protocol for like you to say, okay, this endpoint, this like source of data or service requires a payment. That's it. Like you've seen 404s on websites, right? You've seen 500s, you know, those numbers mean something to developers. When you create a resource or a website and it fails, you give a 500. When somebody like accesses the wrong page, you're like, 404 not found. 402 means, you got to pay for that, bruh.
Right.
You know,
so instead of like it having like a PayPal, like pay with PayPal button, you could do microtransactions, and it just, the code knows what that is. It's like PayPal button for code.
100%. That's a good way to think about it. Absolutely. Yeah. And plus with the rise of stables and quick settlements on L2s and Bay and Solana, this is enabled finally. Right. This has been around since the spec was introduced, since 404s were introduced. We had 402. That's like a little known fact. But now we can actually do this. And Coinbase wrote a white paper, and now everyone's, Pay AI, the rise of them. And we teamed up with them, and they're like, hey, you're building agents. Why don't you like make them collect money? And I'm like, nah. And they're like, are you sure? And I'm like,
yeah, it sounds like a good idea.
Like, yeah, all right, exactly. So I just like bit by bit, layer by layer. Like first I gated their replies and said like, you can if you turn that on, you can have them in a chat group on Telegram and be like, I'm not going to reply to you, or on X, I'm not going to reply to you. Here's a link, pay me 10 cents, pay me 1 cent. And then I'll reply to you. That's kind of cumbersome. And then we explored like agent to agent payments and stuff. We actually enabled that on Telegram. There's a post out there somewhere of us actually having one agent pay another for something. And then like PFP Pewter paying 10 cents for PFPs. And that's actually against like Telegram's internal rules, but we circumvented it because we have agents on the same server be So if 2 meme pewter agents are in the same chat, they can actually talk to each other and pay one another. And now most recently just allowing agents to be their own X402 endpoint, and you can now be in the wider ecosystem. And I've actually seen this, like it's magical when you see it, because it's weird technical mumbo jumbo if you don't like see it in action. But I had this unrelated person who I don't even know. I'm talking to them on Telegram now because I admire what they're building, and I don't want to show their product, so I won't mention it. Maybe I will. Zero Connector or whatever. I don't know what their product is necessarily, but actually I do. They allow you to like connect with a password and get a private key and just start like chatting with X402 resources without doing anything other than entering a password. I think that's the premise. I'm probably botching it, so I don't want to shill it, but cool guy. Anyway, he put our agents on his chat, like on his screen. Like you can go in there and chat with Meme Pewter and Fin Pewter and a bunch of other Meme Pewter resources. And he did that permissionlessly. He didn't ask me. I just had it out there. And I think you're going to see more and more of that stuff, where if you build single use cases, little small resources that are pay per use, and you put them out there and you register them on X402 scan and other tools that emerge, other people are going to integrate them into their workflows and build cool stuff. And I think that's,
so we have like a payment standard now, and Coinbase is also behind this. So everyone knows this is a significant development where AI can essentially access a 404 standard or something like 404, and just know that there's a payment required. The code understands how to execute that. Whereas before, an AI agent would maybe like get to the PayPal paywall button, not know what to do, right? Like, what credit card do I have? I'm an AI agent. I don't have a credit card. I don't have a credit account or anything like that. So that's the fundamental innovation. I think the implications of this, and we have 5 minutes left, so I want to make sure we talk about all the alpha that you have. But we have, like, the implications of this is just e-commerce scales massively, in my opinion, right? Like, I send an agent out in the world to do, I give it $100 and it starts going and paying things and doing stuff. Like, am I getting that right?
100%. 100%. Yeah. And Meme Pewter is well positioned for that because it's like the beginning experiment. They had wallets. So we just accidentally sort of stumbled into this and we had wallets. We had the infrastructure set up. We were just perfectly positioned to provide a system and an operating system to allow that. So yeah, and people like A16Z are publishing papers saying that the agent economy is going to be something like $40 trillion, basically the entire internet. And like I said, apps are turning into agents. So I think they're right. That lines up with our thesis. So I'm heavily invested. And yeah, as far as alpha goes, what's coming next for Meme Pewter is the missing piece. Agents should be able to run real jobs. They should be able to have jobs, which are just chained together tasks, sequences, step 1, 2, 3, branching logic between them. And since they have a wallet and since we have X402, we can give them a budget at the top level and basically allow them to do step A, B, and C, and then have logic in between. And so I think this is like the missing piece for us, which turns our agents into true agents and allows them to perform real tasks. And I have lots of examples queued up as to like what that means, but and you can definitely use your imagination. But I think we'll probably be able to get that done in at least the first version in a week and deploy that and start messing with that. And I think the implications as far as jobs meets X402 is just not something that anyone's explored yet. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I've looked around and I haven't seen it. So it's dawned on me in the last 2 days, and that's all I can think about.
So help me wrap my head around this. You offer this platform where people can go and create their own agents that do specific tasks. You enable X402 payments. Now, me as a person starting a business, let's say I needed a freelance video editor. I can just go to Meme Pewter's, find a video editor here, video editor AI, and then simply pay the dollar amount listed and it'll take care of whatever task I need.
Yeah. It's early days on agents.memepewter.com. That's like, it's not really self-service at the moment. I am going to make it that you can easily just like send your wallet money, just like X402 scan. This is like, if you clicked into it, you could see the X402 resource. But yes, that's sort of the idea, is that if you wanted to like video editor, for instance, pass it a URL to a video and then let the and some parameters and let the AI kind of chop it up and do its thing. Yes, that's a great example. Absolutely. Yes. We're just missing one layer on top of this where the user can actually submit information to the agent and let it do its thing. We had that as like an early version, and then I took it out and refined it so that it would like the service would work perfectly with X402 scan. And it just needs to flip a switch to put the interaction layer back in there. But yeah,
I see the vision. How do you get people to come and build good agents on your platform, right? If you get great agents, you'll probably get the customers, but you need great agents. How do you incentivize people to do that?
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question. So we're, well, for one, we're doing a weekly space starting next week where we just invite people who are agent curious, agent adjacent, competitors in the space, et cetera, friends, just like PayAI does every week. We're going to do a weekly space. So that's one. And we'll probably have like a hackathon kind of thing where it's like a long running competition with some cash prizes to get people to build agents. But I think in general, just providing the ease of use there to create and deploy into the world and then show them it's possible to make money. I think it's going to be a long tail effort, and we're in for the long haul. We've got 5-6 years, I think, until agents are like really, really prevalent. But you're seeing it now. So yeah, I mean, it's a really good question. And there's no answer other than just show up every day and try to do the right things and make it super easy for people and continue to network. So
we have to wrap. We have to wrap here, but raw ground beef, always an honor. And let's keep in touch because this narrative is interesting to me a lot. So thanks for hopping on.
Yo, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for your time.
All right, see ya. Thanks again.
Man, I want to get him back on. I got some more questions for him that I want to ask, but that was really nice. I love his platform. Now let's transition to the next project, CPT. We have
Patrick.
Patrick, the main man himself, the legend. How are you, Patrick?
Oh.
You're muted, brother.
You, sir, are muted.
Okay.
There we go.
Hi, guys.
Patrick,
see
man, good
everyone.
to chat again. How you doing?
You too. Very well, guys. How's everyone?
Doing
Doing
good, dude. I've
good,
been
man. Doing
excited seeing
good.
your updates. Some good
Great.
stuff pumped out of the Twitter here. How are you guys feeling?
We're very excited. Obviously, crypto's taken a bit of a bash the last few days, but we should not be too relevant to that. So good to be here and give everyone more updates and more good news, and to even stress even more that what we're doing in the SOAR platform is exactly why we need this in a bear market, which is real life Web2 companies on the Web3 format.
And on that point, we have a massive new audience today joining us from Asset Dash, and they might not have been on stream watching on our first stream. So, really quick, run
Sure.
through who you are, what CPT is, what Impulsor is, and then we can kind of get to the story of building from launch to now.
Okay, cool. So good to meet everyone. Good to meet old friends and obviously new friends. I'm Patrick Sang. I'm the CEO of Impulsor Enterprises. Impulsor essentially is a CPT company. It's contactless power transfer. Imagine a Starlink for energy. We're able to transfer power from point A to point B via three types of methods. One is optical light, which is laser. Two is magnetic resonance, and three is radio frequency. We're focusing more on the laser side and the magnetic resonance. And we're looking at to deploy consumer products, but also to industrial uses, including to government. So very big scale kind of infrastructure. We're looking at being able to provide power for, let's say, an island government that instead of spending billions of dollars to lay down, cables and underwater expensive infrastructure, we would be able to tackle that by doing this through this technology. And then, for example, a consumer or industrial use for such as policing or emergency services, such as drones, which has limited flight time or energy, we will be able to deploy solutions for police forces around the world to be able to use AI and the drones to be able to be deployed without the use of manpower and without the need to always keep recharging.
Nice, nice. So massive, massive industry, almost basically futuristic tech that you're working with here. Talk to us a little bit about what you've been working on since launch. I know you guys you launched recently on the SOAR platform. You're working on big things there with SOAR and the new tokenomics model that they have going on. What's been we've been looking at your tweets lately. You've been pointing out quite a
Patent
bit.
filing, all of it.
So walk
Yes,
us through.
so basically, I'm more of a TradFi and Web2 person. I'm not really a Web3 person, although I've been investing in crypto since 2015. So I've been in this space for a long time, but it's not my main business. My main business is still as an entrepreneur and as an investor. In this particular case, this is one of the most ambitious projects that I personally undertaking, and the team as well. It's just truly exciting because we're partnering with truly global leaders in the space in terms of from a R&D standpoint. And obviously, as you guys keep mentioning both today and last time, is that the use cases are actually quite limitless, and it could really change the world. We're on the path where we're grounded. We don't want to be too arrogant or sounding too ambitious that we'll take over the world, but that's the aim. But we'll have to do it step by step. There's still a long way to go, and we have to do this slowly, and hopefully this can be done, executed in a way that will be seen by people participating in the SOAR platform and outside. I've been tweeting a lot recently because I think people enjoy the kind of like updates. Typically, this is not what you do in TradFi. You don't like, take pictures or comment on every single meeting that you have. But I think the excitement is something that cannot be quelled. And I thought it would be good to tease people with some information. Some of the stuff, I'd like to share today and in future interviews is just some of the stuff that might be, confidential or it's not ready yet. I don't want to spoil the legal position or where we're at until the product is final. But there are things I can speak with today. I think I tweeted last week or this week, earlier this week. I've got my times messed up. It's actually this week. I actually made a trip to the US. I went to New Hampshire to a company called Massimo, which is one of the only and one of the top leading semiconductor manufacturing companies in the US. And a lot of them have been outsourced overseas now. So just to add a bit of context to this is they've been in the business for over 30 years. I met up with the chief scientist there, who's an amazing guy who's been working there since 1988, I think is the date that he mentioned. The guy's a bit of an OG legend in the space, one of the top guys in the world, not just the States. So some of the components, the key components that we need are very specialized and they have to be customized. And as a result of that, not only that, they're also excited themselves to work with us. So we have a strategic partnership with Massimo. We have launched an order to deploy the components that are key to this. And one thing to note is they don't just work with anyone. They have to like what we're doing. They have to know that the quality of the team behind us, not myself, even I'm more of a business guy in terms of like the R&D, technical, the academic, the university, all that background and reputation has to be top notch for them to undertake working with us. So that partnership is truly exciting. That's why I posted some tweets on that. And the partnership will boast obviously quality, performance, supply chain reliability, but most of for we feel comfortable that we found the right people. And obviously, if the products are made in the US, then everyone will know that there'll be a quality stamp on that, and we're very proud of that part. And this would be our first kind of like long-term partner in the CPT sphere of deployment. So that's the exciting news on this site visit
And
here.
so real quick, I want to
Yes.
butt in on this because I don't
Sure,
think a lot
please.
of people grasp that. We
Sure.
really want to do a good job of highlighting the scale of size of what CPT is building. Massimo, guys, you can go find this. It's traded
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
Nasdaq.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
a billion dollar
Correct.
company. So for
Yes.
you to announce that, or I guess soft announce it here on the show as your first strategic partnership, is massive. And then seeing the insights from you is a very big deal. And I think that's one of the goals of the show today. I just want to really let people realize the scale you're working on. You talked about this in this tweet that we referenced earlier. You said, out of all the ventures I've undertaken, Impulsor is the most ambitious. Fundamentally, we're changing how people access energy and interact with the world. And I doubt there's anyone better than our team to execute on this. I don't think people really, maybe the new people don't really have an idea of your background, but for Impulsor Tech to be the most ambitious, that's a pretty big say because you've IPO'd companies, taken them to $9 billion in valuation. Maybe talk a bit about your background and why Impulsor Tech is so ambitious and you're so excited.
Okay, so I think a couple of points here. So I'm a professional investor. I run my own family office. We're headquartered in Hong Kong. We have offices in London, Dubai, Tokyo, different places. This year, in fact, last year, end of November, when President Trump was elected, I've always been doing deals in the US, but I've never lived in the US. And this year is the first year I've actually spent the most time here. And the reason being is just talent, innovation. The US will still be number one in our lifetime. I'm still a long time supporter of China, but the US is still the number one country for innovation and investment. So here I am. That speaks louder than words. For some of the other viewers, is that in 2020, I was an investor and was instrumental in listing Fubo TV on the New York Stock Exchange for $2.5 billion. And that went up to 9 bill plus. So we took that public in like 2 years. We made a very big return on that. So I always call myself an entrepreneurial investor. I'm not really an entrepreneur usually, but as the tweet says, which I want to repeat here, is I'm actually the CEO of the company because I'm so excited, and we need very strong hands at the beginning to basically take this to the next step, which is scalability. So I think people, some of the people know me, some people don't, but people who do know me know that I normally wouldn't take control of a company myself and get into management. So that just shows you volumes of how I view this project myself. And then lastly, but not least, is truly, as I said before, this is a truly disruptive game where a lot of the emphasis in the last couple of years has been AI and robotics and data centers. Energy is kind of like something in the background. People keep saying to me that this is some kind of like Star Wars sci-fi tech, which it kind of is. But actually, the technology has been in existence for some time. We've just been able to streamline it and do it in a different way. One thing that I add to the table is I'm able to commercialize and take the ideas from the lab to the Nasdaq, to the NYSE, to Wall Street, and that's what we're trying to do. And then enabling the Web3 element is where this becomes very interesting. Now, as I said before earlier, this is truly limitless because this could really be applied anywhere. For example, the energy could be applied to global logistics, from shipping in the way that cargo is tracked. It could be helping policing, for example, like drones, emergency services where the drone is running out of power and you're about to save the guy, but he's running out of food and time and water, but the drone runs out of battery. It needs to go back to the base to recharge. We're able to eliminate all that kind of issues. And then I don't want to spoil all the amazing news, but later when we have the concept is completely ready with testing, there's a lot of things that would be very consumer orientated, which I want to come back on the show and tell everyone and give you demos of it. I hope to have something for you before the end of the year, which will be truly groundbreaking.
So I want to, yeah, before the end of the year, I love it. So I just want to give people a scale of the science here, and I know this is maybe outside your purview, but
Sure.
The drones here are charging in a kind of field of energy, and on the demo, the guy Roman, sorry, had your head of
Yes.
product had a field of energy,
Yes.
and so what is happening? Like, if people think like drones are used for forest fighting, used in conflicts, unfortunately, but also in security, you essentially could have drones that are 24/7 monitoring an area, and they're just kind of rotating through these fields of energy. Is that accurate? Because that seems pretty groundbreaking.
That's basically, theoretically, it's possible. Yes, is the short
Okay.
answer. Obviously, there will be a lot of power that will be needed in order to generate the energy to be able to do that. So I guess from a commercial standpoint and also from a governmental standpoint is how much money and finances, resources are needed to be put in there. But there will be certain cases that theoretically can be done. Yes.
Got it. And recently you had this filing here in your artifacts on SOAR.
Yes.
Just this is kind of some of the technical documentation, so we won't get too much into it, but just to show that
Yes.
there is some engineering and science here. This isn't just a cool video and some drawings. There's
Yes, of course.
capacitors on a wire, and theoretically the drones flowing through this and gaining energy, or flowing through a series of these and gaining energy.
Correct. So first of all, these videos are just videos, right? They're just concept videos. They're not the real thing, but this is what we're trying to build. We're building a few products as we speak now. One of them is a drone solution, which is essentially a drone hangar, which is not just for policing, but also for drones itself. They can go back to the station to charge and go back out again. And this could all be autonomous. So for example, if you're at home, you live in a big ranch, you have the drones, the drone can help you monitor what's happening. Not necessarily even from, thieves or crime, but maybe they have animals and so forth, and you can check up on it. And this could wake you up in the middle of the night showing activity of some sort. I mean, that's one. So there's going to be a major leap. We're basically done R&D for many months now, and we're going to start fabrication of this very soon, imminently, and we'll be having regular updates very soon in the next week or 2 weeks with this. So that's one next drop of info. Regarding the patents, you guys' patents, the patents, we basically got one very close to filing right now. We're targeting to finalize around three patents by end of the year or end of Jan latest. But we're looking to do 5 to 10 in the next in 2026. So obviously with the patents, this will obviously strengthen our position. It'll give us the moat, credibility, trustworthiness, and the most important thing is the IP will give us the most value in the asset. So as soon as we filed the necessary paperwork, we will let everyone know. And then lastly but not least, I also want to share with everyone is our head of CPT laser is a French gentleman called Dr. Julien Levolau. I could spell it. My French is not as good as my English. So he's working in a top Swiss university. I'm not supposed to mention the name of the uni because the university will get angry that we're trying to make use of the name for commercial reasons, and then we get into lawsuits and stuff. So anyway, the top Swiss university, we can you can check up in his background, but I can't advertise it. But we are getting him ready for a kind of video article to talk about the next product, and I hope to get that out to everyone in 1 or 2 weeks, hopefully earlier.
You guys
Very
have
nice.
quite the team. It's like the Avengers. How do you feel about your team? Just maybe broad overview.
We have a number of people. Obviously, the Roman's obviously key. Dr. Julian from the Swiss University is key, and we have a few other professors and a few other consultants. But we're still a relatively small team, and I think I mentioned in the first podcast where, and this is quite Elon and Steve Jobs which is it only takes a few people to change the world, right? And we haven't got there yet by any means, so I don't want to rush anything. But we do have the key components right now. We still need to add a lot more quality people to this. So it also has to be a lot quite discreet as well in certain cases because some of the technology is groundbreaking, which would be that's why we need the patents filed before we can say too much. So I want to share more, but some of the stuff we can't talk too much either.
Makes sense.
Got it. No, that makes sense. The tweet that we have on the screen kind of coincides a little bit with what you're mentioning. The tweet says world wireless power transfer is already being implemented worldwide. The market is only going to get bigger. The US, Japan, and others are already pushing for these solutions. So I wanted to kind of zoom in on this aspect of it. It's only taking a few people to change the world. What demand are you seeing for this? Who's interested? Is it just governments? Is it just industrial? Give us a little breakdown of that, and perhaps any progress that you've made, any contracts that you have signed or perhaps
Okay.
are pursuing. And I know you there's not a lot.
So So the governments and the big Fortune 500 companies are basically our main targets in terms of big contracts. So obviously they have the money, they need this, and they have the money to pay. So that's one. The thing is with that is those contracts take longer to sign for obvious reasons because there's usually like multiple rounds of meetings, calls. They have to do due diligence, and it goes through a whole process of their committees and whatnot. So every government and company is different. So those contracts could take anything from 3 to 9 months up to a year to close and start. So that's our main target. But in the meantime, on the consumer front, which is very exciting, is again drawing to Steve Jobs' kind of inspiration, is that sometimes the customer doesn't even know what you have to offer. You kind of have to make it in front of them, then they'll buy it. So it's not like saying to Josh or whoever, hey, what do you want? I don't know what I want. It's like if you want Italian food, you have pizza and whatever. You go to the restaurant, I want the pizza, right? But right now it's a new concept. You sit in the restaurant. What would you like, sir? You don't even know what's on the menu, right? So, but it's easier if I come to you and say it's omakase. You don't have a choice. This is it, and you're gonna go wow, and then you start eating, right? So that's the kind of analogy I would.
It's
Yeah,
CPT.
exactly. So it's kind of where. once it's kind of introduced to the public and the consumers, and the education is kind of like self-prophesizing, then what will happen is it'll get easier what people then will want as a product. At the beginning, they don't know what they want yet, such as when the iPhone or the smartphones came, then you had power banks, Bluetooth headphones, all these kind of accessories, even phone cases were things that people didn't really think about, but it all came about after the phone was invented.
So people don't know what they
Wow.
want. Patrick does.
basically.
No, okay. Let me be a bit more specific. Otherwise, I might get people commenting on this. I'm generalizing on some consumer products that people don't know what they want because it hasn't been invented or put in front of them yet. So in that
Right.
case, we've got to make it easy for them and say, this is menu A, menu B, menu C, what do you like? Rather than what do you want? Such an open, vague question, people won't be able to create what they want.
I was
It's
being
truly
I think we
hyperbolic.
go and make it. I think we need to go and exactly. Yes.
Right. Yeah, no, it's truly a revolutionary piece of technology, one that can be a foundation for other technologies to be built, using that to be layered on top of. So, I mean, massive undertaking here, Patrick. We do have to wrap it here.
Sure.
Real quick, if you could give me like a 10, 20-second soundbite here on the token, what you're doing, what you're trying to do with SOAR.
So CPT is obviously the ticker for on SOAR for Impulsor. I would like to stress what I mentioned at the beginning. I mean, what SOAR are trying to do is the participation, which is kind of like a membership club of people believing in a Web2 company, but it's in the form of Web3 format. That's been something that, as I mentioned before, in 2015, I started investing in crypto. People have been trying to do this for such a long time, and no one's really cracked it yet. So this DRP concept that they've come up with, I believe in it, and I believe that it's something where you can get people to participate and be rewarded for the participation and the belief in the Web2 CPT. So that's why I think people should really think that this is not another meme coin. This is not the way crypto works. This is actually TradFi, but it's been Web3'd. So love to get people to understand that. And, we've been the first one for a reason, which is because we are the best of all the projects and all the forthcoming one. That's why they picked us to launch first, because they picked the strongest one.
Boom.
Got it. So you're launching a Web2 product on Web3 rails. Love to see that. Well, Patrick, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us on stream. We'll catch you next time, hopefully before the end of the year.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Jill. Thanks, Tom. And thanks, Josh. And thanks to
course,
the
Patrick.
viewers. Love to be back soon. Okay. Wishing everyone safe
Have a good
journeys
Friday.
and stay alive in this crypto. I don't even know what you call it, wave, but make more money, everyone, and stay safe. Look forward to seeing everyone soon.
Thanks, Patrick.
Signing
See ya.
off.
Thanks, Patrick.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Huge,
Dude,
man.
huge.
Let's talk about with Mercy, because this is ICM runs one of
homie.
their first incubated live projects is CPT. So Mercy, I mean, how are you feeling?
Feeling good, dude. Feeling good. It's been a minute, gents. It's been a minute.
It has.
Feel like I've lived like 6 lifetimes. This is the last time I hung out with you guys on streams. Things don't slow down, man.
Well,
But no,
last
man,
time we
I'm-
taled to you, you were a New York guy. I think now you're a San Francisco guy. So
yeah,
there's
what's that about?
Man, I'm a mission guy. You know what I mean? So wherever the mission takes me, right? I got me a cute little little cottage out in North Jersey. I'm comfy where I'm at. But obviously right now I kind of planned this tour. I kind of teased this tour too. Like I think like in an article, I always try to like put things out there. Let's see who like reads everything. But yeah, we're doing a tour with Founder.Run. We're gonna put out a whole write-up about it essentially, but we're partnering up with a few communities, a few different like Solana-centric communities, mostly the ones focused on public goods for Solana. And we're going to be doing a couple different hubs. So like New York, we have an event going on next week. It's kind of like a brain trust, more of institutional tech founders in Web2, co-founders of massive fintech companies that are interested in crypto. But while we're in SF, we're building a natural hub there. So we're currently floating around our pitch deck for grants and sponsors and people who want to take part in that. But we're going to be setting up a perpetual house there. Man, we all flew out there, the whole DAO, 9 of us, including the SOAR team, by the way. Shout out SOAR guys.
Let's go.
Absolutely love. We love a team that shows the fuck up, boys. Like, there's a lot of teams out here that, you know, talk a good game, talk about how they're mass onboarding, but like, there's nothing better than actually just like showing up, you know. And 9 of the mentors of the DAO and a few others all flew out to SF. Stayed out at the Dallas Fun office. Shout out Bowski hosting us. Amazing office venue. Could host like 400 people there if we wanted to. It was a really, really great spot for us to host events. You know, kicked it with the other builders out in SF, like the MetaDAO team and some other great builders too. And we hosted an event. We hosted about like 90, I would say max 90, maybe 100. Couldn't really tell because I was the doorman the whole night. But we hosted about 90 to 100 people. It was a really cool experience, man. And I think a lot of people talk about like onboarding Web2 founders. It was really important for me that, you know, if we're going to be leading on that category, that we're not just like doing it through the internet. We want to go like meet founders where they're at. And yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Can you explain the vibe and comms to those people? Because obviously I think Believe kind of broke into that space because people made a mistake on X launching a token, but then they also kind of just had a different angle than the crypto native angle. Can you just talk about how you guys message to founders? And yeah, Dom, you can keep that. I was just wanting to.
Man,
I can't keep it up. My thing's bugging, Josh. So maybe you could pull it up.
Sorry, I got you.
Sorry to interrupt.
Well, what I was going to say is it's a really good question, and we have some really great findings, guys. Like, ultimately, what happened was you have to think about who's aligned with having the conversation. When you're talking to Web2 tech founders, there's a persona that people that go to SF that I would say that are perceived as typically parasitic. These in the Web2 world, it's usually VC scouts. You know, they you know, like Web2 tech founders perceive them as like parasitic. And I think ultimately what ended up happening was after speaking to a lot of founders there, they perceived like crypto launch pads no differently. They just perceive them as like, the only reason why you're talking to me is that you hope that I'm going to launch a token ultimately, right? That's all you're kind of hoping out of this situation, right? You're not actually trying to create like something that's like educating founders. You're not trying to like create this environment for this track pack. You're just trying to get me to be like iPad Gen 1 user for your benefit. And I think a lot of people perceived it that way. When we went out there, the rule was no onboarding. We're not here to like get people to download phantom wallets. We're not here to convince people, you know, crypto's the best rails. We just talk to founders about what they're doing, right? What are they building? What you know, product market fit do they have? What stage of the company that they're in? What kind of acceleration they're looking to do? Like what they're trying to do over the next few months? What are their goals over the next few months? And if they're raising capital. And some of them answer, yeah, you know, I'm raising this much capital, I'm raising that much capital on the Series A. I'm a seed. You know, I'm actually in the middle of a merger. Oh, my company just got acquired. You know, yada yada yada. The whole point of us going as founder.run is so that the beginning part of the conversation didn't have to be a word that they had to understand, like ICM. Frankly speaking, raising capital on chain is not so drastically different than actually just raising capital traditionally. It's just that we put these people through this track, right? And ultimately it's just a misalignment incentives. ICM.run can do this for 2 years and never have to launch a token for any one of these projects. We have that runway where we're not financially incentivized to like get as many of these people to launch as quickly as possible. So that gives us like a longer runway of a conversation, just a longer runway. We get to earn more trust. We get to meet them where they're at. And just have like real conversations instead of trying to like, dude, just get some kind of
and are they asking about the funding model? Like, are they saying, are you guys capitalists? And then when you say like, oh, we're like this DAO of crypto people with money,
we're an alternative capital raising ecosystem. Alternative capital raising.
Do you think even that sets off like alarms or the bells?
No, dude, listen. Ultimately, people are smart. By the way, for what it's worth, you find when you actually do the onboarding in person, you find that the majority of people's exposure to crypto is actually all not that negative. It's just the reality is like you see the loud minority on socials. But like when you go actually in person and sit down and actually talk to founders, it was like maybe once or twice we spoke to a founder that had some other founder they knew in SF that got involved in crypto. But when they say how that person got involved in crypto, it was like them buying fucking XRP. You know, their exposure their exposure to the conversation had nothing to do with like dApps, protocols, you know, building software companies on chain. It had like no exposure with raising capital. So this like what we perceived as this you know, community of founders that, whoa, you would never launch a token, bro. Like we see it all over socials. many of these founders were very open to the conversation if they could have the time to understand it. But ultimately, the reason why so far they haven't had the chance to understand it is because the people who were doing the onboarding push these guys into a pipeline to launch a token. And that's not the mission. You know what I mean? The mission is to educate Web2 founders about this financial vehicle. You know what I mean? And like educate the long tail part of it. People grossly underestimate how much founders talk to other founders. In this crypto space, meme coin devs, we don't interact with each other. They don't like interact with each other. They have their own groups of people. But like traditional founders, like Web2 founders, all they do is spend time watching founder content and talking to other founders, especially in SF. So ultimately, it's a bit of a numbers game. It's a bit of like a long tail mission. We're going to set up a hub there. We're going to host multiple events there. We want to host debates between Web2 tech leaders and Web3 tech leaders. I want to host the founders of Venmo, and I want to host the founders of, you know, like a protocol on Solana. I think these conversations have like a lot of value from them. But unfortunately, the only reason why they haven't happened yet is because the people leading the conversation sort of had a horse in the race, if that makes sense.
You guys are kind of pivoting into, I shouldn't say pivoting. You actually did use that word. So, and I have a tweet pulled up in private.
He's going to kill me when he watches this video, dude. Kitty Cunt's going to absolutely murder me. He's like, do not say that word.
Yeah, I think I agree with him. I think pivoting gives the wrong impressions. Like you still are completely have the same mission as you continue to say. And Josh, I sent that in private chat if you want to pull it up what I'm referencing. But you guys are now expanding the ecosystem of ICM.run, right? And there's 3 pillars to that. And I'd love for you to kind of go through them. Actually, in this tweet, before we even, I'll preface that. In this tweet I have pulled up now, it says, you know, you write this tweet, tell them we're the first on-chain incubator. They don't know how to value that. Announce we're incubating a new protocol, price pumps. It's going to take months to ship it live. People get bored, nuke it. Start quietly incubating our own protocols. They don't know how we know. They don't know we can just bring our own protocols, incubate to market. Tell everyone we can get to $1 million a month in fees for stakers. They think that's a stretch. And then you drop here, MFW. We already made a protocol 3.6 million in free fees from our ecosystem. Okay, so maybe tell us how you've made a protocol 3.6 million fees, who that's been, and what you guys are doing now to expand that to your own ecosystem.
Adjacent launchpads. Let's just keep it simple. I'm not going to name names. I think there's not many. I think many people can do the math. But adjacent protocols. And what that really means is like, you know, mostly adjacent launchpads, adjacent protocols, mostly adjacent launchpads though. What we found when we're getting this massive surge of founders that were coming through our pipeline, also neobanking is like another really big one too. I'll get into like more of that later, but essentially they were applying to our DAO, they're applying to our incubator. They're in mass volume, and how I would describe them are ICM utility tokens. Many of the type of tokens you'd see on Believe app. Not to say that they couldn't be like tokenized equity, not to say that they wouldn't fit it, but ultimately they're the type of tokenized utility products that probably SOAR isn't going to accept at the moment. It's probably the ones that MetaDAO is not going to accept at the moment, just because they're both centralized launchpads trying to go permissionless for the most part, but again, they're still mostly centralized launchpads, and then maybe if SOAR isn't centralized, because they actually are permissionless. I should clarify that just for the fact that they are actually permissionless, but to become a curated, that is a centralized decision. Many of the launchpads, they just don't feel like are a good fit for them, so they end up just going on to like the anything launchpad, and that could be many different launchpads for what it's worth too, you know. And even for what it's worth, the goal isn't to like convince anybody that joins Founder.run to, you know, go through a launchpad in our ecosystem or go through like a neobanking software in our ecosystem. But the hard reality of it is that ultimately ICM.run really brings our own ball, our own court, our own players, our own stands, our own food stands. We really bring everything to other people's courts. And oftentimes we find that we have to advocate for that value. And I think what we're realizing as we're bringing protocols to market is that our DAO's fucking stacked, excuse my language, absolutely stacked. Some of the best product builders in crypto, a lot of people don't know who the mentors are, but if you do your research on them, they're all giga product builders, right? All of them. I chose that intentionally, specifically, because I didn't want like a bunch of like idea guy mentors, you know? So ultimately what we've decided is we're spending a lot of time doing incubation. We might as well just incubate the founders and the mentors who have stake in ICM to build protocols natively in the ICM.run ecosystem. And I think that's what I mean by capturing volume, capturing fees, capturing just capturing the generational flow that's flowing through a DAO. Is that it just makes more sense for us to like incubate our own protocols, simply put.
There's a lot going on in this tweet that we're referencing here, from making ICM holders liquid through, fees, staking and staking fees. Can we just start from the top of this and kind of go through this tweet where you outline the verticals that you guys are expanding into, how you're still staying and doing the same thing? Maybe just walk us through this tweet, TLDR, if you want.
Yeah, I think the simplest put is we still are incubating projects that are applying to the DAO. And typically how we incubate those projects is we agree to some type of token sharing value that goes in our smart contract treasury, which is paid out and when the DAO disseminates. Every 6 months, the DAO holds a vote. Current trajectory is currently 2 years is what we're expecting at the moment. And that's where we'll make a long-term decision if we're going to continue staying open. When the DAO disseminates, the entire supply of tokens that are in the treasury gets distributed. That's like pillar one. We incubate projects, we bring in the market. The other pillar, of course, is like other concepts like, building like founder highways, like founder.run, and investing in a hub in SF, investing in doing tours, investing in doing education. Even if that means we don't do all the value capture all the time, it's about building like a distribution highway to the protocols that we're building as well, the ones that we're incubating. The thing that we find though, while we're incubating these protocols is we are expending actually the same level of product development support, UI UX support, design support, product go-to-market strategy, user capture strategy. We're finding ourselves doing so much of the work that we're looking at the founders within our own DAO and thinking we should probably just be incubating our own protocols and developing them and growing them on top of our ecosystem. And this isn't to say that
what's an example of a protocol? Like, are we talking about trading infrastructure? Like, what? Can you give us a concrete example of one?
Yeah. So, I gave him a call before this to see what I could say, and I got approval. One of the mentors of the DAO has a serious institutional background, and he is building a tokenized equities launchpad. It is a proper, legally SEC compliant, multi-legal reviewed, essentially documentation and legal strategy for how they want to pull this off. And I can't say much. I have a lot of respect for this mentor, and I obviously respect what he's building. There's a lot of really great people from our DAO who are already kind of previously and now all mixed, all involved. So it's a bit of like a fast growing product that they're developing together. But that's just one example. I really can't wait to say more about it. By the way, that's something like I'm really stoked about. Something that's going to take time, to come to market. But some of the other ones, for example, are one of the mentors is building a meritocracy-based launchpad concept. I would say it's close to a comparable of Echo on Solana. It's a really cool concept. I'm not going to steal the fire from his flame either. For what it's worth, both of these mentors already have their own distribution. Like they already are building they're already building these products. They already have their own network of customers, users, user acquisition. They already planned for it, for what it's worth. But since these founders are building the ICM ecosystem, they're committing fees from the protocol to go to ICM stakers. And this is important to us because ultimately we really want to reward the DAO for engaging and experiencing products that we're building, and give some of the upside to the people that are kind of like notably in the ICM ecosystem, which is the majority of the DAO. And I think like what better way that we could do that than helping people who are helping build protocols that we're a part of, rewarding them for the upside of it, getting them involved with the protocols, making them feel like they're leading the direction. We might not be in a state today where equity on chain is meaningful, but fee distribution dividends is a really phenomenal way to also provide value direct to token. And I think until we get to a stage where like tokenized equity makes a lot of sense, it just makes the most sense for ICM.run to scale this way, where we can distribute the value that we're generating to the holders, to the believers of our DAO.
Can we touch on some of those value accrual mechanisms you have? I think for these three you listed specifically, I think I saw 60% would be going to the ICM DAO and 40% to the protocol. Maybe give us some, if maybe I'm inaccurate about that, but maybe talk a bit about that, and then also talk about different ways you're going to streamline value to the ICM DAO.
Yeah, well, I want to clarify it's up to 30/60. I think that's what we're like projecting based off the protocols we're speaking with. It will vary, and there'll be documentation and a lot of transparency when those protocols come to market anyways. So those ones will kind of be their own individual announcements. When those come out, you'll see them and hear about them. You know, I have no intention of shoving this down people's throat, by the way. I want to be clear about that. I genuinely want to help these guys build a phenomenal product that the market values. But I think your next question was what is like the mechanism? Like, how does the mechanism work?
There's a lot, I think, going on. There's a few mechanisms you guys are going to streamline value to the DAO here. Maybe just list a few of those and how you plan to achieve that. For example, the title of this was streamlining $1 million a week to, you know, ICM holders.
Yeah, I think, you know, I want to clarify what, you know, mission's $1 million a month. That's the mission we're working towards. That's like our target mission, to get to the amount of dollars that we're streaming to stakers of ICM. I think it's kind of funny, man, because, you know, when I think of like achieving that through protocol fee generation, it's actually really not a lot of money. It may be perceivably a lot of money because we're like maybe in like a down cycle. I won't use the B word on this call. You know, I'll be the last fucking fool standing if that's what it comes down to. But,
Same, I'm with you.
but yeah, ultimately, actually generating $1 million in fees in protocol fees when you're spread out across multiple verticals is actually really a very like achievable goal. I don't think anybody's really also asking like how much these other Launchpad founders have made. I think it's a really good thing for anyone to look into. There's a tremendous amount of capital in Launchpads. I mean, tremendous amount of capital. And I don't want to like shame, you know, point fingers. I'm not here to do that, but I'm just going to say that I'm a bootstrap founder, boys. My first few software companies, I scaled from $0 with $0. I've always done that. You know, like if I didn't pay my developer, the software company went down. So I just didn't eat many times. And to know that what we've been able to achieve with ICM.run with such little capital, and what we've been able to achieve with the projects that we're working with such little capital, being able to create a model where we even collect just a small percentage of it is going to like be pretty significant. And, you know, we're just referring to a few protocols right now. Some of the other protocol verticals that we're exploring also are far more scalable. I won't announce them on this call because obviously I don't want to get everybody, you know, like hyped up over something that we don't have concretely down. But we have a few other verticals of protocols that we intend to have built on the ICM ecosystem. And I want to clarify, this won't be an ICM.run launchpad. ICM.run is still a launchpad agnostic ecosystem. We still refer to MetaDAO, we still refer to Pump, we still refer to Meteora, we still refer outward everywhere. But ultimately, if we have a chance to build something cool like this that we think is valuable to the market, we want to get involved in it. And if there's a way that we can reward the DAO in some way intrinsically through fee sharing, I think that's the ultimate outcome.
Sweet. That's time. You want to leave us with any closing thoughts or notes, Mercy?
Yeah, I mean, I'll see you guys in Met Dobby if you guys are going. I'll see you guys at
Absolutely.
Breakpoint. You know, keep an eye on optics. We're going to be announcing a lot with Founder.run. We're hoping to get our SF hub and house opened up in January. So, hey, man, if you're an SF and you're doing cool shit in crypto, hit up Mercy. And, you know, thanks MCG boys for hosting me.
Dude, always.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. Appreciate your time, Mercy.
You bet it. Peace.
To transition, man, we have one of SF's finest on stage with us, Avi Patel. How are we doing, buddy?
Very tired.
Yeah.
Dude, I woke up at like fucking 6 a.m. I slept at 3 for some like East Coast calls, and then I didn't go back to sleep. And my Airbnb checkouts at 12:30, which by the way, I got so catfished, bro. I'm like in the hood of Palo Alto, like East Palo Alto, and it's like 5 minutes from Stanford campus, but like, and the house is really nice. But when you enter the house, it's great. But right outside the house is like a bunch of stray cats, gang members, like murder capital of the world.
Well, California is tricky like that, right?
Yeah, keep the lights off too. You know, you don't want them looking in the windows.
Bro, my COO was actually barricaded the door last night. Let me see if I can find a picture.
Oh my
They're trying to take less proprietary data.
Bro, before we sleep every night, we put a here we go. We put a chair behind the door.
Dude, they're gonna snatch up Bobby. This can't be happening. That's how it is in California though. You'll be jogging the nice beach and then you look to your left and someone's shooting heroin up their arm and they're gonna attack you.
The Floridians, they're like, dunking on it all.
Oh, you gotta dunk on California.
Welcome to Cali.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to this city now, where I have a decent hotel and I'll be staying there for like 7 more days. And then in the meantime, I'll find a like an apartment and office for the team here as well. And we're just gonna come out to SF full time now. Yeah.
Let's go. You've been bulling out there. Oh, so you're gonna make the full transition to San Francisco.
Yeah, I've already called up all the team members and everything. I think there might be a period where we could just, I don't know. We've gotten a lot of like the relationships built now with the labs, to the point where I might actually prefer New York because they're asking for a lot of like workflow, enterprise, engineering, financial, consulting, accounting data, and that I feel like is more in New York than in San Francisco. So I'm debating. Yeah.
So I guess you can call it a pretty successful San Francisco trip then if you're debating staying out there.
Yeah. So far, yeah. I think I definitely still need to meet with more people. So maybe a month here, and then maybe just alone, and then might move the team to New York. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay. That being said, we are on a time crunch, so let's get into it. Avi, the other day you hosted a space, only 1.9 thousand people tuned in. I think lots of people missed the alpha here. It seems you have subsequently deleted the space because maybe you overshared there.
I did.
But
I definitely overshared. To the point where yeah, I told you to take your post down as well because well, we sign NDAs with several labs, and let's just say for some reason they search Kled a lot on the timeline, and especially when we tag the labs, they see the post every time. And, yeah.
So maybe I won't do tagging going forward.
Yeah, the social media manager's like forwarding it to someone. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like we just signed an NDA with this guy like 20 minutes ago. Like, what's going on here?
Oh man.
So yeah,
but they don't know Patel mode, so
correct.
Hey, and I could be some random guy on Twitter speculating. It just happens Avi did drop that name specifically in his monthly recap, but you guys should have been there. That being said, Avi, I think you said a lot that went over a lot of people's heads. A lot of people missed. I want you to go through that run. Obviously, maybe being a little more careful with what you say, but giving us the alpha and just run through that list again if you still got that on hand.
I have the list. I made it like 10 minutes before the call just to keep it organized. Let's see where it is. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, we talked about a couple things. It was product features, research. It was enterprise contracts, rights holder deals, and then hires, rebrand, hardware, and then fundraise, and then some questions at the end. That was general structure. I can run down the product features itself. So Kled Special Tasks is coming out in version 2. That's like the biggest update ever, because we get to push out like random specialized tasks that have come from like a bunch of different companies. And you can't do that with the current app format because it's focused only on just upload random files. Whereas like you need to get very specific for some of these things. Really cool ones are like the Department of Transportation wants pictures of potholes around New York City, right? They want pictures of construction zones so they can figure out like zoning laws, basically. They want pictures of like, any sort of like street malfunctions. Like there's a ton of issues that they want pictures of just from users. And that's not even for just like AI labeling. That's just simply for data collection. Advertising companies want pictures of where you ate last night. There's like tons and tons of cool things you can do with special tasks. That's really, really cool for us. Kled integrations, that's going to be out as well. Google Drive, Dropbox, we're sorting out the Netflix, Spotify, etc. linkage as well. And that's really important for like hedge fund data. And the way I'll explain it is that if you have 50,000 users that are all tracking their Netflix usage, and you see that every single month in 3 months in a row, Netflix usage is going down across the span of 50,000 users on average, that means that it's usually a good sign to short Netflix stock. So that there's like alpha you can get just through tracking app usage, and we can pay the users out for it. And we're the only positioned company to do that. No wait. Yeah, go ahead if you have questions.
Tell me if I'm getting this vibe right. It feels like when you started Kled, you kind of came in with an idea. Hey, there are a bunch of these AI labs that are getting sued for scraping and stealing data. We're going to come in and basically provide the only verifiable, licensable data to everyone. Now it seems like as you've kind of made these relationships, pushed along, we've got things to spawn out of nowhere, like Hades, like these special tasks. It just seems like the bubble of Kled is expanding. You know, you're outsourcing some work as well, or you're doing outsourcing work for other people.
I'll make the hot take here. I actually think AI is maybe 10% of the data collection market here, like maybe a little bit less actually, to the point where Kled's business might like focus purely on collection for like large enterprises. I think it will have a lot of AI focus, but there's just so much like data that gets passed around illegally across the board to like insurance companies and big enterprises for research or whatever it is, that isn't paid out to users, that now we can like kind of take market share across everything for data collection. So yeah, it's definitely broadened, I'll say that.
And like, how are you tackling these? Because you're iterating pretty quick on a lot of the stuff that seems to just pop up out of the blue.
Well, special tasks is once you build the framework there, you're good for pretty much any data collection opportunity that comes your way. It's just about building classifiers. So like I have to identify that if a user takes a picture of a pothole, it's actually a pothole. And we also have to make it so that you can only take a picture on the spot and not upload from camera roll there. So there's like niche things that you have to do there. Like homework is another big one that we were asked for, like PhD homework data. So you have to build like a verify your college ID type thing to then verify that you're a student and actually can give the homework assignments. So there's like very niche things you have to do per each one of these. Yeah, that's like generally speaking what you have to do. It is a lot of iteration, a lot of things you have to build out. But once you've built like the backbone, which is just this like terminal to put these tasks onto, it's surprisingly not that difficult beyond building these like custom random things. I might be overstating it, but we at least have found a pretty good rhythm of it. Yeah.
I want to let you run through this list because I know you have a long one here. But I remember you said, hey, we need to get to, was it 100 million, 300 million? I forget the exact number, assets. And if we can do that, we have one of these major image gen labs.
100 mil, yeah, 100 million assets. They want, yeah, feel free to put up the chart or whatever. Yeah.
If I can find it.
Yeah, the 100 million assets is the thing that they wanted, and we still have to hit that. But in the process, look, we're doing everything in our power just to find a way to subsidize this cost to basically unlock the waitlist completely. We built out the no waitlist tech already, but when I remove the waitlist for this next update so that we can hit this 100 million assets and pay out of pocket to hit that, then we also want to make sure that we never have to bring the waitlist back again. And that means having like an infinite flow of like random contracts to help entertain the users to then get paid, right? The 100 million assets is a big focus of the next update, and just images. But another big one is again, all these random special tasks that are coming through. And we're evolving the business day by day. Like there's a lot happening on just the enterprise side beyond the app as well. And we'll see what works. But yeah, that's the 100 million asset update.
What's the major unlock there? Because like Meta could have done this years ago and paid people, but they didn't. Like, why do you think the job task thing is like so significant now that hasn't been solved?
Yeah, like the special task terminal, you mean? Or
special tasks.
Yeah.
Like, is it the tagging that you do and kind of like your pre-processing process?
We do the tagging and everything, right? But I think it's a great question, I think it's like a really tough question to answer on why any company that's really, really big and worth trillions of dollars hasn't done a specific thing. I think this is like a pretty steep project to tackle, and it is like a complete like shift in focus towards things. And simultaneously, every single big AI company, lab, enterprise has always had really bad reputation in data privacy, etc. And if Meta were to release a product, for example, tomorrow that said, hey, give us all your stuff, we don't know what we're going to do with it, and we're going to pay you maybe, that's going to look really bad for the company. They would never do that for that reason. Also, because we're not just selling to one lab, we can pay out users more than one company would ever be able to. So if Meta would just use it for their own internal stuff, who knows, maybe they'll sell to other people, but they'll never tell you that. Whereas we would sell to everyone, and you'll make the most bang every buck. Yeah.
Can we talk a bit of numbers, or just kind of gauge the size of this market, the TAM, if you want to call it that? Let's say you achieve this 100 million assets. You have this little friendly love-hate relationship with Bobby. You said, hey, I'm going to get the number on the App Store. If Duke could do it, we're going to do it too. And we're going to get these 100 million assets.
Duke did it.
Duke did it. Yeah.
Awesome product. But that being said, like, what kind of checks does someone sign for 100 million? Is it just blank checks? As long as you give us assets, we give you money. Like, give me an idea.
The goal is to get a per picture rate and a per something rate. The problem is that you need to build immense trust with the labs to get that per something rate, and usually it's like you collect and then they give it to you after. So that's the usual process, at least with the big labs. That's the usual process. Ideal goal here is that we have a set rate per every image, asset, thing uploaded to CLED, and you will always get paid that set rate from X amount of labs, and we just keep increasing the pot, the size of this pot and this treasury chest, to then further increase the payouts over and over again to users, because you can sell multiple times over to different labs. But the TAM here is hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars are spent every single year on data collection, like hundreds and hundreds of billions, and it all comes from people. Yeah, if you had whole market share, it's a multi-trillion-dollar company, but that's like I can't say that. That's like, it's like really hard to do, but we'll get there eventually. Yeah.
Sweet. Say less. You guys raised $3 million, as you mentioned. And actually, I think if I tab over here, you said you did that at 100 million valuation. I think you said some of the investors were the same.
Some of
investors
it was not at 100 mil, but our latest batch, like a good chunk of it was at 100 million. Yeah, but that's just the way startups operate when it comes to these announcements. But yeah, 100 million was the latest valuation. Yeah.
And you guys are putting a chunk of that towards data centers or data infrastructure. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we are now doing these like big enterprise deals with the companies beyond the with the labs beyond the and this time I won't mention with who, but beyond the actual user app. And what that means is that we have a lot of just like literal hard drives being sent to like our warehouse, like literal hard drives from like decades old, and they have like terabytes and terabytes of data. And it's been like that for a long time, but now it's come to the point where it's getting too overwhelming because they always ask for the hard drives back. And our process is not you copy it over and then you send it to us. That's too much work and like too much brain processing power for these people. I tell them like, look, just send me the shit you have in your basement, ship it to my spot, and then we will just copy it over onto our own drives and then send the hard drives back. And then you'll be good, and we'll figure out the data sales and then the sub-licensing agreements, right? So because of that, we have petabytes of data we have to copy over really fast onto our own systems, and then ship those hard drives out to the labs to then copy it over to their systems, ship it back, have it in-house, and then also have backups and copies, etc. So you need to build this like literal hard drive farm in your house, or in your office, and basically not fuck up incredibly large scale enterprise data that you will be sued for if you don't take care of it properly. Yeah.
And do you have like people that are carefully unboxing these things, dusting them off a little bit because they've been in the basement, plugging it in? Like, how careful and lab is this?
We at the start it was a lot less organized, which I mean we made very clear to the enterprise we worked at the start that like this is very new and we're figuring it out, but a lot less organized from now on though, because I think we've scratched a couple of hard drives early stage, but we've never harmed or injured any hard drives. Everything's come back in usable function. But I've just become like very, very hyper careful of like what happens now, because we've had like 1 or 2 complaints right now on just like scratched hard drives, which it's not even on me, it's on like the shipping company. So we unwrap everything, log everything that was sent to us, because sometimes they don't know what they sent us and they just like think that we didn't send everything back. We'll log everything that was sent to us, take videos, put it all in one like terminal. We'll then package everything and like tighten it, bubble wrap, send all the original packaging back, put it in box. It's literally a manufacturing and shipping company. Like it's like we have to do the whole 9 yards to make these people comfortable.
You guys are opening up data centers, data infrastructure, whatever you want to call it. You guys are paying, hiring new engineers, doing all these different verticals, special tasks, Hades, etc. Like, what's your burn rate? You guys must be spending a lot of money.
Yeah, burn per month, including payouts, a couple $100K. Yeah. So the burn's high. It will be worth it though. I swear to God. We will hit this point of escape velocity. I just need to get one person to bank a lot of cash on one data deal. That's that won't happen after we upload all the data to them. Happens during the upload process, and then I can subsidize all these costs, and I'll be good to go. So I'm not concerned. But yeah.
Okay, so we got 10 minutes with you left, Avi. Maybe speed run through that list you had that before we kind of sidetracked you.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's the no waitlist update. That's the most important thing. We're gonna be doing Cash App, Venmo payments, etc. I've been at the WAP office last couple of days, a couple other payment processors, and we'll announce a cool partnership for the payment processing side there, and include it in the V2 update. I'm 99% sure. It's like the last thing Eli has to actually work on. He's just finished special tasks, I believe. And leaderboard, social interactions. The web app is going to get all these improvements as well. Everything. Added sign up flow for phone number, Google Auth, etc. Research is the next biggest thing that I want to talk about. A really big tool in order to sell data sets to labs is you go to them and you build these eval sets, and it shows where models lack and what they're bad at, right? So we're building eval sets around camera rolls and human data to show that these labs are not good at X thing, and why CLED's data is then good at X. It can improve X thing, right? So we're going to be releasing eval sets upon this big relaunch, and we'll show like provably why our data is helpful, and why it can help publicly to every single model. And we've already made like pretty significant breakthroughs there. The people that are running this team are all Stanford
That's
applied
amazing.
and AI researchers. That one of them was like the youngest person to ever work at NASA at like age 14. He's cooking on it.
How's that legal?
I don't. He actually told me that he was never allowed to go around any equipment, but begged for a job long enough where they just let him in. And that's how he got into Stanford, I'm pretty sure. So he's cracked. He's great. Yeah, they're working on image generation eval sets, and then VLM eval sets, which is cool. And we'll release those within the V2 launch as well. And then rights holder deals, obviously there's some really cool ones. We've signed military contracts with really large like drone footage companies. Like we have like a ton of the Ukraine war footage, a stupid amount of it. Billing companies have over 50 million United States patient records, and we've anonymized all of it, and we can sell that anonymized data to healthcare companies that are building AI agents, etc. And we've complied with HIPAA regulations, etc. And then partnered with like 8 institutions to get medical surgery data, including heart and brain surgery for robotics and humanoid robotics. Cooking data, we've signed like several New York restaurants as well as shows that have POV face down cooking data, which is good for humanoid robotics as well. I think 1X robot, that's like really, really good for that. And then hires, obviously we've hired the Stanford researcher as well as 2 extra engineers to help out Eli. It's like triple the speed of our engineering, which is great. And then the rebrand, which is really important. CLED has to look like a proper enterprise company worth $100 million, not a scrappy AI lab, even though I think the AI labs are raising at like billions of dollars valuations at this point. But we need to look like a proper enterprise company. So the site's going to reflect that soon. And we have videos being filmed with our rights holders and partners. And we've edited most of them already. I think there's only 2 left that show like users in Africa basically like feeding their family through CLED. Like a lot of these people are making like actual income off of this. And we have like people in like California who run like food stands that do the same. Shop mechanics, like there's like a ton of really cool videos we filmed with some of the users using the app. And they're like documentary style and very enterprise style. So the rebrand is going to be very, very cool. And it's the best way I can put this is add enough aura to make us like serious in front of the labs, and make us look like a serious enterprise company. So yeah.
Good. You also mentioned something, and again, you can't probably name names, but you mentioned you were doing like outsourced work for some of these big
subcontracting for the labeling companies, because the labeling companies have only 5 clients for the most part, being OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, etc. And that's like the entirety of their business, and they're worth billions and billions of dollars. They have such strong relationships where they get hit up with a lot of data opportunities beyond the labeling stuff, which means that they can come to people like me and they can give me those opportunities, which we've been grateful to get from some really, really large companies that have raised at billions of dollars of valuation. So we are now getting enterprise data for a couple of these people. The subcontracting is big. It's like the dog work you have to do to get in through the door. And then once you've done enough of the dog work, then they'll trust you enough to like take you seriously, which is important. Yeah.
There's a lot there. I wish we had more time to unpack it, but unfortunately we're kind of coming up on
for the
on a
tokenized
wrapper.
equity, by the way, we're going to be in a street batch 2. I'm almost 99% sure. Batch 1 for street is going to be some other companies, but it really gives me, again, like I want to make sure this is perfect. So it gives me and we've like trusted Maya with pretty much all of this because, you know, he's been really grinding on it and working with some really top tier legal firms to make this possible. But he's going to make it so that batch 1 comes out with a couple companies. I get to observe what's flawed, not even with the protocol, because I think the protocol is great, more with the way they announce it. And we need to make sure that the way we announce it is perfect. And I get to do that by taking the back seat in the first batch and then coming out in batch 2 with like the best form of tokenized equity possible. Yeah, Maya's on it. That's all I'll say there.
So to like wrap that and tie with a bow. So basically, outside of the buybacks that'll come at some point from, you know, people that earn money, you'll also be adding an equity anchored angle to this.
Correct. Yeah. Goal is to just be able to like build your business without ever having to worry about or even think about the token, right? And the way to do that is you attach these have equity anchorage to it, where you have a substantial chunk of your company that's allocated towards holders in some way, shape, or form that's SEC compliant and legally compliant. We're doing our best to make it as legally compliant as possible and working with some top tier legal firms to make that happen. Yeah.
Sweet. I think you were going to go on to say something else, and then I cut you off there.
No, that was pretty much it. Yeah, and then buybacks as well. Obviously, buybacks happen when it comes to enterprise deals coming through. Everyone wants to see like on a random Tuesday 2 mil get injected to the chart. So I'm doing my best there. Ideally, all this happens before like this next big update. I know the market is just
It's a good time.
I wake up to criminal shit on Telegram every single day. It's bad, bro. Yeah. Everyone actually is like pretty comfy in their Kled bags. I think we've held up pretty well, but for the most part, the rest of the market is yeah.
Look. I guess when you do think about it, if you get some sort of equity anchorage or you get some sort of equity tie or claim on the business, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't really matter what the crypto markets do. You have a much longer time horizon rather than
life cycle is bigger. Like it just mathematically, it doesn't make sense once you have equity anchorage to be at a certain market cap, if that makes sense, right? As long as you're, it doesn't mathematically make sense, right? Because if you have let's say secondaries for your company, and let's say I refuse to sell any secondaries, the only way to buy technical secondaries of your company is through token with token anchorage. So you're going to have institutions that want secondaries buying token, which is like a really, really cool side effect of token anchorage. Yeah.
And that's the math I'm doing here with Kled. I look at Kled at 20 million. You guys just finished a raise at 100 million. And so the math there is assuming that you're going to equity anchor 20% of Kled to equity. From our conversations, I feel like that's low. So I think just alone on speculation, I like Kled at 20 mil, but that's like the game that these traders can kind of play too.
Correct. Yeah. Me and Maya have been exploring like milestone-based equity unlocks to like if you hit certain market caps, more and more equity is unlocked. But all of this is like games that now don't have to just be played by traders, but are going to be like of pretty cool interest to like VCs that I will just refuse to let have equity in my company through normal equity financing. And I'm just going to tell them all that you look, there's an open market tradable asset that has the same anchorage to equity here. If you want any part in my company, you have to market buy it. And I'm just going to tell them all the same exact thing and refuse them any entry into my equity round any other way. And they'll do fun stuff on the chart.
We want an email screenshot of that as well, because I think that would go viral on X.
Everyone knows that I have a pretty hostile relationship with venture capital. Very hostile relationship with venture capital.
That's how everyone discovered
Say the
Patel
least.
mode. So
Correct. The way
crash outs.
even before all this token stuff, I was posting screenshots of emails with VCs that were doing heinous behaviors, and I would just unleash on them on timeline with no remorse. Anytime a VC messages me, I tell them, if you don't have a direct offer, I'm not even speaking to you. They're all usually a worthless waste of time. Build a good business should be the most important thing. And there's probably 1% of VCs that actually have a brain to be able to invest in my company, let alone the brain cells capable to move on this planet. Yeah.
Well, Avi is certainly an ambitious founder. Tasteful, that's debatable. But Avi, we appreciate you coming on, brother.
hiding out in SF, yes.
Yeah.
Very, very debatable. I plan to walk into every VC office and just fucking shit on them with your numbers when I start pulling in these big contracts.
Hey man, look, if you can do it and help a lot of people around the world have upside in what you're doing, I think that's a very noble cause. So good on you.
I agree. All right, awesome guys. I will see you in a where's Breakpoint?
Are you going to Abu Dhabi?
Is it Abu Dhabi?
Yeah.
I'll be there. Do I have to get tickets now? Can I? I mean, I'm sure I can just hit up the Solana Foundation.
Hey, Avi, we have a T-shirt that we're making for that event. Do you want Kled on it?
Sure, dude. Why not?
All right. Well, Dom will follow up after.
We'll follow up.
Yeah,
we got all our sponsors on there. About to get some merch out. So, all right, Avi, we appreciate you, brother.
See you, buddy.
Yes. All right, these guys.
Thanks for your time, bro.
All right, man. Patel, as always.
Dude, I love these. I love these speed interviews, bro. Like,
I love it, dude. The pace is great. We're keeping it up. It's quality projects. Speaking of, man, look at this guy, Nate, always mogging the camera, looking good. Coming.
He looks ready for war. This guy.
How you guys doing?
Dude,
what's up, Nate? Man. How are you?
Been a great stream.
Doing great, man. We've been very, very busy.
It seems like it. We've been doing some on-chain sleuthing. We see the numbers are starting to grow here in the holder count. Some people aren't understanding why. The keen ones who've been paying attention to you and MCG seem to know what's going on. But you had a great stream with Von Doom the other day. If you guys haven't listened to that recording, go ahead and do that. But I would love to just get that message out to a broader audience as well, and have you kind of cover some of the stuff you went over there.
Yeah, I mean, with him, I was kind of taking it. I think I was on a show with you guys after that, but I'll kind of just go into the chain of events, what led to where we're at now. One side, sorry, the dog. So first, I mean, after we launched the token, there was a lot of foundational things that had to happen in order for the reality of the token launch in the country to take hold. One of them, which we covered, was the liquidity facility, which I'm not going to add too much on that, but the basics of converting the local currency into crypto didn't exist. We had to make that a reality, and we had to make it institutional grade so that institutional level types of players could also follow the same suit. We did that.
And Nate, I hate to butt in. We do have a bit of a new audience here. We are streaming on Asset Dash, as you know, today. So maybe before we even get into all the updates, I guess it'd probably be smart just to give people a broad overview of what Viva is and who you are in terms of Viva and your holdco, et cetera.
Oh, yeah, great. So for the holdco, our holdcos bought Viva I think back in 2022. We bought them with the ambition to prove our ad tech business model, which is called Alva. Alva is a ad tech plus super app model that we partner with telco providers on. Our holdco has been in the telco industry for 40 plus years, so we have a lot of knowledge over where the telcos struggle. The biggest struggle that the telcos have is that they're fighting the wrong battles. They're fighting each other on a race to the bottom of their prices, and really the real battle is with all the ad techs of the world, of Google's and Facebook, where 90% of their revenue rides on mobile network operators, and the mobile network operators get nothing really for that. So our goal was to change that narrative and kind of break that walled garden down and give that power back to the carriers. So in order to do that, though, we had to prove that that actually, wasn't fiction and that that's fact. So that's when we acquired Viva back in 2022. Like I said, Viva has been an MNO operator in Bolivia for 25 plus years. After we acquired them, we completely transformed them into a data, AI, ad tech, and now Web3 ecosystem with deploying everything that we did for them over the years. The ad tech part that was our case study for our entire business model was very successful. We were able to double the revenues, so that was a check mark on that. Now that's a global case study that we partner with other carriers. And
can you share the revenues?
Yeah, I mean, Viva was making anywhere from 150, 200 million, and we doubled that with ad revenues. So, and then the ad tech business model is that we split that revenue 50-50 with the carriers, which is giving them a brand new revenue stream that they never touched before. Which, like I said before, when the other providers, the other ad exchanges don't do anything for them. So we're giving them something special, but in return for that, we block all third-party advertising, and we're the only players in town for that subscriber base.
It seems like that's been the biggest disconnect. I remember when this originally launched, everyone's trying to get to the bottom of what's going on. They were doing research on Viva. They said, well, guys, Viva is a declining telco company. And you guys said, well, exactly. That's why we bought it. And to prove that, we doubled the revenue. And I think a lot of people just kind of missed that. So it's important to relay that message. And I'm glad that you've been able to do that.
Yep. And, after we deployed that super app solution and now has 3.1 million downloads in Bolivia, there's only 12 million or so people in Bolivia. So it's a pretty big traction of the entire country of what we have on app downloads. And after we deployed that, the evolution of what the super app was always going to lead into tokenization. It was just kind of a matter of when. And we couldn't launch it because Bolivia had a ban on cryptocurrencies. So we formed the Bolivian Crypto Alliance, and we sit on the board of that, and then we helped change that legislation and lift that ban. The day after that ban was lifted is when we launched Viva Coin to show kind of good faith to the alliance and to show good faith to the country that we're all in, and that we'll lead that cause for the country, which led into what I was just talking about on the other update. How do you do that if the local currency can't be converted into cryptocurrency? So that's why we had to create that liquidation facility in order to take those Bolivianos and actually convert them, because that's something that all traders take for granted in their respective countries. They most likely don't have any issue converting their local currency into crypto via easy channels, and that just simply didn't exist. So we had to make that foundation. That was a huge milestone. Right now, we can currently process $1 million a day equivalent, US dollar equivalent, and we'll be scaling that to 10 million. Like I said, it's institutional grade, so there's a lot of B2B partnerships that will also be flowing through that as well. After we did that, we integrated in parallel. We integrated the new Viva wallet into the super app, and then we needed to test it. So we have over 1,000 employees. And we did a employee program kind of pilot test, let's just say. Over that week or so, the employees started buying, and we wanted to test out kind of that end-to-end flow, because that was the first real interactions that we had with that new liquidation or liquidity facility. So it made it to where now an everyday transaction, like what they're used to using, QR code, which is the most common form of payment there. Now they can take Bolivianos from their account, instantly buy crypto. That all worked. They bought about 70 grand worth. They still hold that. And after we did that, they gave us a lot of good insights. It's a big company, so we kind of have a lot of different departments, a lot of different interests, skill sets. We got a good idea of what in the wild it would look like, and kind of that feedback. So we did all those optimizations over a few weeks, and then and then after that we started.
Before you move on, because I think we need to frame this for everyone watching, is that Viva started as a fair launch token. 50% of the supply has been held and is locked for, I think, 3 years. Is that correct?
4 total, vested over 4.
Vested over 4. And so there's only 50% circulating. We've never seen really a major company. I mean, your business, all the assets included in the mobile carriers worth what? A few $1 billion, like a big entity who's launched a fair launch token and then allowed a country where in Bolivia, what other on-ramps are there for crypto?
There's not.
There's none. So now you have the first access. So your users now can buy the Viva token. I mean, it's quite the playbook.
I also want to touch on that liquidity facility because it goes into, I feel like, more than just depositing in crypto. You said no advertisement exchange accepts Bolivianos. Well, that must go further than just advertisement exchange. No company accepts Bolivianos, but
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe
that's a huge point. I mean, that's another thing that everyone kind of takes for granted in their home countries is all international services, Netflix, for instance, ChatGPT, all these different services that you put your card and you're getting charged for. They can't do that. None of them accept their local currency. And with their cards, they have these very, very robust limits to where they can maybe spend $50 like a month on their card. So it's virtually useless on a credit card. I'm talking credit cards here. So they can't use those local Bolivianos. So we're giving them a different way to do that. And some future collabs that we're working on will even expand that to where they won't need any limits on cards.
Can we also talk about back to liquidity facility? You've built a wallet, you've built a liquidity facility, you said it's institutional grade. When you talk about Viva and you need something done, you've said this famously on one of our other tweets. If you have to get something done, you just ask your left hand to talk to your right hand and it gets done. You guys own over 400 IPs and you have massive teams that can build out anything. How are you able to get things done so quick and just push out these updates?
Well, we own the software factory. We have nearly 500 developers. We do everything that we build in-house. And I lead that team pretty much day by day. So it's the most hardworking team you guys have ever seen, and they have to deal with me every day. So, God bless them. So it's something where they know what they're doing. They know what they're getting themselves into, but it's a lot of performance and a lot of demand on them. But ultimately they see where we're going, and that's why they're doing it.
You guys had this massive partnership with MeetKai. I think it flew over most people's heads. MeetKai seems to be underlying technology that a lot of people don't hear about, but it facilitates a ton of devices. Can you maybe dive into this partnership, why it's important and why it's big?
Yeah, that was for sure overlooked. The MeetKai deal is a massive deal. Just one of the parts is, like what I just said on the ChatGPT aspect, Bolivians can't use premium AI services. So there's a big opportunity there in itself. But MeetKai, they're a leader in this. They have their AI models are in over 75 million devices worldwide. They're responsible for launching an entire sovereign nationwide AI system for Brazil, which I think you're showing on the screen right now. Their models are second to none. They specialize in the local languages. They prioritize local businesses. They do everything that we do on the ad tech side in a localized aspect, but for AI. They also have robust functional AI models. It's some of the most intense things you've ever seen. Functional AI is where it pairs with agentic AI, and if you deploy it into your ecosystem, it's not just a conversation anymore. It's an action-taking type of thing. So that's exactly what we're doing with them. We're deploying this same type of sovereign AI system for Bolivia, which will be a first for Bolivia. So now Bolivians can have access to some of the top models in the world. with regards to AI services.
And this is more than just like, you know, hey, we want access to these top models. This is like countries that are kind of taking a little more control over their data, let's say. Is that fair to say? Like in the Brazilian example here, like what's the use case for the government saying, well, we want a sovereign AI?
There's a million use cases. One, I mean, kind of obvious one is control. You know, they don't want all of their dollars flowing to, you know, U.S. entities that own these other chat platforms. You know, they want to have their piece of the pie, but they also want to use it. You know, and these kind of provide private LLM offshoots that the government can use for their own, you know, private files and things like that they don't want public. So there's just more control over it.
So there is demand for sovereign AI at the government level. You guys are providing that solution to Bolivia, and we now know that there is a transition toward a friendlier crypto government. Can you talk to us about, you know, the vision for that, what that can mean, implications for a government that's crypto friendly, and for a crypto native solution that's providing a sovereign AI that they have demand for?
I can't speak too much on what we're working on with them, but I can say that they are very pro AI and very pro Web3. So, and they have, you know, he kind of got handed this pile of instability that he needs to make stable, and that's a good hint.
So you said you can't really speak on it much, but it seems like you're playing some sort of direct role with the Bolivian government to bring all this to the country.
There's a lot of different plays there. There's a lot of different really great plays. Remember, also Bolivia sits on the largest lithium mine in the world, worth tens of trillions, if not hundreds of trillions of dollars. They want to unlock that. They want to become a Dubai.
Very interesting.
If I can just real quick jump in here for the audience that's new to us today. No one knows this about Nate, but he comes on and he just drops bombs, and he just does it with a straight face. Like look at him now. He's just
it's all facts.
It's all facts.
It's just things that I like. It's just things that are happening. So
all right. I gotta get back to the Viva token here. So for people that have kind of missed this, if you're in Bolivia, you know, ChatGPT doesn't accept Bolivianos. However, there's this new Viva token. And so, Nate, will users who have staked the Viva token or who are spending in Viva, are they getting access to these AI products?
Exactly. You're getting closer to the light. When all the super app users, you know, everything's connected kind of transversely in that ecosystem. So any assets or new features that we add, we have different tiers of loyalty programs within the super app in our bonus club program that all the super app users are a part of. That's one of the driving forces for app usage. You know, everything that they do, every minute they spend, every dollar they spend, they get cash back. There's a whole bunch of different things that they do, inside that bonus club, and then it earns them these different tiers. They can also pay their way to get to a higher tier, but those tiers get them access to, you guys have seen the videos of the concerts that we throw. They get VIP access to that. They get access to premium services and all different types of events that we co-sponsor. There's a lot of amazing things that they get access to. So next month, we're going to be doing the Viva coin or the Viva token integration, the full integration into that bonus club. Right now, we're doing the basics, the buying. We recently announced, you know, the earning protocol. Every dollar or every Boliviano that's spent into the Viva wallet, they get automatically entered into a 48-hour flex stake where they're earning 20% APY only if they hold Viva, and they have to hold a minimum amount of Viva in order to qualify for that. And then they get those APY drops and partial drops every 4 to 8 hours. So it's compounding that balance, and it keeps growing and growing and growing. They also get
and that APY, just because everyone asks, is paid out in Viva, and that Viva is purchased using the revenue from the ad network. And again, this is a fair launch.
Well, to be fair, all of anything when we do it to the rewards platform, whether it's APY or commissions or sign-up bonuses or this or that, what we will get all of our users onto this wallet in one way or another. But there's always, there's cost per acquisitions, there's different marketing things that we need to do, and it will all be funded from what actually makes money. So we would buy back any earned Viva is all bought on the open market with revenues that the ecosystem's generating.
Yeah, wild. And this is sorry, Dom. And this is a store actually that they're showing. And in the country, Viva is actually like quite an iconic brand too, amongst young generations as well. So yeah.
It's been around for 25 years. So it's one of the older brands that are there, but they focus on the younger community.
So in regards to the token too, you said all of this, the Flex APY staking, anytime the token needs to get purchased off the open app, you guys will be using ad exchange to purchase that token. Are there going to be any additional in-app benefits? You said maybe staking tokens gets you access to this proprietary AI and other stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. It gets you access to premium services. So, I mean, you can stake, like the highest tiered service is basically removing ads from the entire thing, and you get premium access to all the different features. But obviously that amount needs to offset how much we would make on the advertisement. So, there's a bunch of different tiers of what they can do. Staking more and more Viva is going to get them, that's how they can buy their way to the top, is by holding more Viva. And obviously if they're holding more Viva, then they're earning more Viva that we're facilitating with the buybacks.
Sweet.
Dom, can you pull up the holder scan on Viva? Because I just want to show people it or unless you want to ask.
I can. Is that on MCG or?
Yeah,
I can pull it up.
If you can tee that up. Nathan, I had a really great question, but it's escaping my mind all of a sudden.
Well, I'll just give a few more updates, and then I'm sure you'll figure it out. The last week was a huge week for the Viva headquarters. We had a full hands-on deck, which I think we posted about that. We had a full hands-on deck day by day. It was 5 days. It was kind of like a boot camp, a Viva token boot camp of all the new features that we did, because the main rollout right now is the friends and family rollout. We already, like I said, we already did the 1,000 employees. That went really well. Now it's the friends and family of those employees, which, like I said, we have 1,000 employees. They have a lot of friends and family. So that was naturally kind of what was happening for the next step, because the main thing that we had to test for non-employees was the new KYC protocol that we developed in-house. There was a lot of features that are really back-end features that needed to happen to be in compliance. So the off-the-shelf KYCs didn't quite make it there. So we had to just make our own, that complied with what we needed. So this was the first real test run of all the KYC flow from end to end. It went really, we trained them last week. They started kind of pushing on Monday. They're getting anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 signups per day. The job of the friends and family is to, the one you're showing, that's old.
That's old. Up to like 5,000.
There's like 5,700 now.
Yeah, I threw
but
that.
Also, since we've been on this call, there's been 1,700 more that were just signed up. So,
really?
There's a lot that you'll see that by the end of the day today. It seems like Deck Screener is super laggy, so you got to just look somewhere else. But anyways, it's going well, but we put it live in the app, but we're not advertising to it yet. It's like having a website that exists and not pushing traffic to it. So right now it's there, but the only people that know about it are the friends and family. So they're literally going home and they're talking to their friends and family. They're saying, hey, check this out. You get this APY, do this referral. we'll all make more money. But the job for the employees is to, you know, sign up as many of their friends and family as possible. And then the job of the app is to educate. You know, these are all Web 2 users that you see right there. You know, or majority of them are. They need to you know, we made this as simple as possible for them. There is no gas fees. We cover all fees. We cover everything for them. For all intents and purposes, this is no different than them paying their telco bill. You know, we made it that simple so that it's just one click, done. So that's the main job now of the ad exchange and the wallet and the different tutorials, is educating them. What is crypto? What is Viva? You know, what is this? What is Viva token? You know, what can you do with it? Where can you use it? What's this APY thing? You know, oh, what's earning? What's all this? You know, we made it to where it's very, very simple. Even on the staking part, they don't have to do anything. It's just automatically done. They don't have to move it from here to there or do anything. They literally just buy it and don't touch it, and they're going to earn. You know, so we designed it very, very well. And we're doing even more improvements right now. We're going to be issuing those updates very soon. But you know, we're just taking feedback, getting it, and we're just going to keep optimizing, because right now, you know, it's a decent amount per day, but we haven't done one ad for it. This is just them going home and talking with their cousins and stuff.
And so I also want to clarify, this is not just for Bolivia. Eventually, you have plans to roll this out in the US, Mexico, and other countries around the world, as well as other mobile network operators?
Yeah, we're going to be, that's a big update too, which I guess we'll pre-announce the announcement now. But it's a global eSIM plan for Viva, where it'll work in every single country in the world. We're going to open up the super app to every single country in the world. It's going to be more crypto centric for that, you know, because when you download the app, the UI UX is custom to that country. So, you know, if it's a Bolivian that's opening it, everything's all about the local, you know, Viva market, or the local Bolivian market. The marketplace that we have is custom to, you know, Bolivian vendors. Everything's about Bolivia when you do that. So we're going to open that up to all the different countries. Mind you, the, you know, APY and everything, that's because they're a Viva customer. So when we open it up to all the users, you know, if you get even the bare minimum plan, then you'll have all access to all the same benefits.
And so the rollout here is get Viva into the app, drive the initial kind of adoption, create compelling use cases or ways to spend it, because everyone in crypto thinks about, oh, how do you onboard by buying? But also the key is onboarding by spending it, using it on AI services to get access to concerts, to do all sorts of things in your merchant marketplace. Then you scale, you know, the value kind of mechanism with the ad exchange. You know, you earn APR, earn tokens. They are bought off the open market and then given to people. So you're creating this kind of new economy in a sense that's also global too. It's not just refined to Viva or to Bolivia, sorry. It's also across LATAM, the United States, and potentially the world.
Exactly. You know, right now the focus is Bolivia, because that's the lowest, you know, the low hanging fruit. That's where we operate. You know, that's where we're going to continue expanding. And you know, after we do what we say there, then that's when I'm going to open up the global. Like right now, like I said, we're focusing on friends and family. Then we'll start all the ads for all the app users, which are all still Viva users. Then after that, we will open it up to the publishers that are a part of the ad exchange, which are all the major, you know, putting ads on all the major news sites and, you know, media outlets, different things like that. Those are all publishers that have our ad tags on them, which are now non-Viva users. So we'll be driving more downloads to the super app and opening it up to non-Viva users. Obviously, we want them to be Viva users too. So there'll be incentives to join and become a subscriber, and you'll get more. And then after that, we'll be rolling it out to our 70,000 points of sale. We're ramping that up to about 10,000 a month. Last month, we got 5.7 K worth of new points of sale. So the teams are cranking there. They're all ready. We're also doing huge, like I said, on the institutional plays for using the liquidity facility. There's going to be huge institutions that are utilizing our point of sale network as well.
Can you elaborate on that?
Banks, any company that needs to collect a lot of money.
Okay, that's alpha. Actually, on the expansion front too, maybe we run it back to Meet Kai, because it seems like Meet Kai is really kind of helping bridge that gap a little bit, where it's taking you to 80 million plus devices, taking you across borders now. Maybe
one of the biggest parts with Meet Kai, aside from everything else we just talked about, is the ad tech integration with Meet Kai. So we'll be doing an ad tech integration so that really, because we have a browser with the super app, the browser is going to be replaced with that. All the search components, everything will be AI search, AI everything with those new models. And then all the ad tech is going to be integrated with those models. So it's going to be ads like really no one's ever seen before, where they're conversational, organic, way higher click-through rates. We already get really high click-through rates because we do use AI models for targeting, but this is like combining that, our existing AI models now with an AI, publishing outlet. It kind of puts it all on steroids. So like I said, on their devices, we'll be going, it's kind of a two-way street there, where their tech will be for Bolivia, but our tech will be for theirs.
Does this feel like the biggest acceleration phase, you guys and Viva have gone through?
No, but it's up there. The ad tech part was pretty big too. So this is up there. But like I said, this is the evolution of what we did there. This is the evolution, and this is where we're going. So we're all in. Like I said, we got
Solana,
a lot of people, and they're all into.
Solana also is very engaged and leaning in here as well. I believe you said that there was a festival or something a couple months ago that they came down and captured some content. I don't know if you
Solana's been great. They've been very supportive. I think they're going to continue to show that support, especially as we prove this expansion plan that is currently underway.
On the supportive note, on the note of support, you guys have subsequently left the Believe ecosystem. Do you want to walk us through decision there, what the future looks like being independent?
I mean, it was going to happen one way or another. For obvious reasons, it happened a little sooner than what we were going to, what we originally were going to decide. But we're a massive company. I don't think people understand how big we are, but we're very large. We have a lot of employees, and we have a very great ad tech business model that we're going to be expanding to other telcos. So we have a plan for that as well, on how these other telcos that we're doing ad tech deals with could also potentially play in a similar field that we're trying to figure out right now with Viva. With Viva, it is, we own Viva, so it's something that we can test things and fine tune it. But once we get that model down the same way we have the ad tech model, then we'll be bringing on those players as well.
Love it. Love it. Any other thoughts you want to cover? Chill, Josh, maybe you have something.
No, I think we went through pretty much everything I had in mind. Josh, anything?
Yeah, the last thing I'll say for everyone is Chill and I and Dom were looking at the top 100 tokens on CoinMarketCap. There is a lot of dead stuff that's pretty junk, things that are not good. And here you have a really great business that's rolling out an amazing playbook on this. And, go to HolderScan now, go search Viva. You can see the wallets that are onboarding. And I think we've just not really seen a fair launch token used in this way. Normally, like WorldCoin, it ICO'd at like $1 billion valuation, already. And that's kind of like, there's no upside there. There's no network effect there. This, though, on the other hand, has huge upside, huge network effect potential. And you have so many levers to pull to kind of like balance and incentivize this economy. So hats off to you. I kind of want to leave with that, more of a comment than a question. But Nathan, Viva's on the bar at the bottom. Your support has been incredibly important to keeping MCG growing. And, we have 3,200 people that watched in live on a terrible market day. So we want to keep telling your story. This is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the market's it's a temporary thing. We're here for the long term, and you guys will just see continual growth on what we're doing. And the proof is always in performance. Anyone can say anything they want on here, and if the only way you can see it is real growth on chain. So we're going to continue to grow. I'm not worried about anything, and we're going to. It's just a matter of time.
Can we get some forward-looking thoughts, actually, Nate? Maybe like you guys have been putting in incredible amounts of work. We talk, privately often, and like the amount of work you put in is unparalleled. What are you guys doing today, next week, going forward? Just what does your calendar agenda look like?
If anyone looked at the calendar, they would think that we're crazy. But we go into one meeting talking about towers, we go into another meeting talking about this and that. So it looks like it's scattered, but everything is, for a reason. Everything is all working towards a common prize. So right now, it's just really all hands on deck on expanding this Bolivian rollout and expanding the wallet features to give something that the Bolivians and really the world has never seen before. So we're working on some really great collabs right now with great partners that we'll figure out which one is going to be the best fit. But the goal here is to really give our users something that's never been seen before. We want them to have as much utility with the token as possible, investability, a lot of great things that are about to happen. So, we're just going to continue updating the app, getting active feedback from our real users, and we're going to continue. It's not going to stop until we get all of the app users on the holder scan.
You know what? And I actually had someone reach out to me personally. They said, he was this big company, it wouldn't take much for them to just buy up the chart or stabilize the chart. And I'm like, thinking with it based on internal conversations with you, Nate, it seems like you guys are much more interested in getting people in at the ground level and having those people be able to evangelize the product as it grows. Do you want to just give thoughts there?
Growth happens from within. Anyone, you could go and buy it, but then we're going to hold 90% of the flow. I mean, it has to be in ratio, and it has to be from the value that the users are generating. So once it's fully integrated into that Bonus Club platform, that's truly where all of the users' attention is being rewarded back to them. And it's almost like the ad revenue is a rev share back with the users. And then the holders get the benefit because we're buying back, the token in order to distribute that rev share. So, I see random questions on, what's the exact percentage of the buyback? It depends on what amount the users adopt into this ecosystem and how much time they spend, because we're monetizing the time that they spend on that super app. So some of those users are going to earn way more Viva than other ones because they're attributing to more value. So it's all about the attention, creating value. It could go up to 10%. It could be a little bit more than that. Who knows? It could be less. It just completely depends on how many people are adopting the Web3 protocols. The Bonus Club is going to kind of force that because all the users are already a part of Bonus Club. So that's going to expedite that adoption even more once we activate the token into that next month. But really, you have to think about it as what is the flywheel here? What does it even mean? They have all these. they have all these different components in the super app, and I can understand it to some it's overwhelming, which is why we're also going to release a bunch of breakdown videos of each component, because some people, have a marketplace and that's their whole product. That marketplace is just one of our products. We have a full marketplace that nobody internationally even knows about. But we're going to deep dive kind of into each of those sections, because all of those are creating value off of the user's time. When the user spends time and they take action and they provide proofs of anything into the super app, whether it's time or buying something, that's what's creating value, and that's what's generating that ad revenue. So we give back to the users to reward them. On top of that, we're giving free data for everything that they do inside the super app as another reward for them. But that's the Viva token is that extra real world type of rev share that we're giving back to the users, because before they could use the points, and the points, they could use them for different things, but it's not the same as the token. Now, the token is something that's completely different, that has way more utility than what just the points can do. So, there's a master plan to this. Everyone just needs to be patient, because it needs to be rolled out sufficiently accurately. We need to test it a million different ways on what's going to be the best way, on how we want, the world to see this. Because after we open it up to all of Bolivia, it's going to be open to everybody. When we do the global eSIM, it's going to be, everyone's going to have those same type of benefits. I want everyone to use the app and benefit from it. And we're going to be having, we can integrate any of these other types of platforms into the super app, which is another thing that people don't understand. I can integrate any D app that I want into this. So if anyone wants to get more users, which is what we have millions of users. What do D apps need? D apps need users. So I can integrate any of them into that. And what is that going to do? Now it's going to provide more value to our users, because now there's another way that they can earn from their time. So that's what people need to understand, is everyone's time is the most valuable thing. The data you collect off their time, if you're not sharing it back with them, like 90% of other companies don't share that back with them, then, that's when they feel slighted. But with us, they don't.
Boom. Nate, as always, it's a pleasure. There's just so much going on here. It's going to be a lot to unpack. We're going to listen back, get some clips out, but we appreciate you, and keep that head down.
Definitely. Thank you guys so much. You guys, shows are always great. You guys got a stack show today, so I'm happy to end it off for you.
Yes, sir.
You're the
Thanks.
man.
Appreciate the kind words, Nate. Thanks for your time.
Later.
Peace, brother.
See ya. Boys, stacked show today. Stacked show. First off, welcome to the new audience over at Asset Dash. Hope you guys really enjoyed that. Look, Nate said it himself. Had a stacked show today on a day that the market is basically nuking, possibly bouncing, as Abe brings out in the chat. On a day like today, we're still pulling in a lot of views. We're at like over 3,000. But not only that, I hope from what you've seen on stream that despite the market-wide downturn, ICM as a space is still pushing forward full throttle, right? We got the guys at Kled, Avi working, hustling. We got the guys
Look at
Viva,
this chart.
Guys,
you got
the market's nuking. If you were holding Viva, this is a daily chart, I believe I'm on. Yeah, this is a daily chart.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're up
we
on
are
the day.
above, we are up 47% from the bottom, which was 17 days ago when this nuke started. Like, it shows that you can see the holder growth in the troubling times. Clearly, there are people, maybe they're just buying in small amounts, but people are getting accustomed to it. We have one mission here. Whether the markets are bad or whether the markets are good, we want to come every day and show up and deliver as much actionable alpha as possible. I think it's safe to say if you were holding most of the projects we've been aligned with, talking about on the show, you're probably outpacing the market significantly. Not to say it's been good, right? We're not going to sit here and act like we've been, swimming in money because during the market downturn. But the truth
We definitely haven't.
We definitely have. But the truth is, we're probably doing a lot better than those liquidated on 1010, those holding anything other than ICM on chain, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So
holding Viva, Kled, Dupe, a number of these tokens have outperformed probably most perps traders, have outperformed many meme coin traders and even DeFi traders. So This is why we think ICM has a lot of potential, because the tokens have more underlying fundamental catalysts than just the hype itself. So, and why don't we do, we got 15 more minutes. Let's end at 3 p.m. Eastern, but why don't we whip through a bunch of ICM charts for our Asset Dash community of stuff that we like to cover.
Can we pause on? Let's just give a breakdown. We had some bangers on. We had,
Yeah,
Pled,
let's do some takeaways.
ICM.run, Viva, CPT, Pewters,
Dummy.
Soar, Dummy, all of which I think have proven themselves to be long-lasting, secure, solid projects. Anything you want to touch on? Because all of them dropped alpha.
Yeah, I mean, look, the point that I just want to drive home, first of all, goal of the show is to drive ICM forward, right? Push ICM forward in a major way. And on a day like today, when everything is down, the entire sector is still working. It's not like it doesn't work like everywhere else, where it's like, well, markets are down, so we're gonna disappear, or we're gonna do something else, or we're gonna change our focus. Like, these guys are still head down building. Like Mercy at ICM.run. He's out there in San Francisco with founder.run. We went over with Cled. I mean, they're barricaded in the Airbnb, doing what they got to do out there, still showing up on stream, waking up at 3 a.m. to take calls. We see Street is still building. They're looking at, getting their batch out soon. Soar, we covered a lot that they're doing as well. The team is out, boots on the ground in San Francisco out there. Viva, I mean, he mentioned he manages 500 developers, and obviously they're still doing massive work out there. So look, on a day like today, when the entire market is slow from a price perspective, the ICM space is still pushing, right? Still moving.
There was a common theme today from the tokens we covered that I don't think many streams can say that they do. Despite market being down, we know Cled is going to have equity anchorage, right? So again, no matter what happens in the market, all this is short term. If Cled goes and exits, of course, assuming that this equity anchorage gets in place, things go well with Maya and Street Foundation, you have ties to equity, right? So it doesn't really matter what the market's doing. If Cled goes and raises and IPOs at $1 billion, you have a cut of that, right? Same with CPT. CPT sitting at a 1.8 million market cap right now, actually less, because we know that full 10% is not in circulation. And the thing is, I don't really care what happens to CPT. It could go to 0 on the chart. I'll probably just buy a lot more, but I don't care what happens to CPT, because if it gets sold, IPO'd, I get a piece of that, right? I'm entitled to the percentage I hold. And so it's really interesting. And then, of course, Viva gives back to the holders via buybacks, flex staking, APY. ICM's going to have, hopefully they're getting for $1 million a month to go back to users. They've already generated 3.6 million for other protocols via their referrals, etc. I don't know. The common theme I think today is, look, there is value to be a holder in specific tokens. You just got to find the right one. And there are still good plays out there. You just have to be diligent in seeking them out. And I think this kind of goes to show that.
Look, asset selection in this bull market is key, right? Like, you have to be able to be picky about what you hold. You have to look for what has like the potential for attention vacuum, but one that's confluent with strong fundamentals, right? It can't just be like these random tokens. Like, you have to actually like hold something that has fundamental value. And if you've mitigated the downside, all these nukes. I mean, you can look at the chart. We just looked at the Viva chart on 1010. It only went down a little bit, right? Like, there wasn't like, it's not like it's affected by leverage or by the wider market conditions to the point where it's being dragged down, right? So yeah, I mean, just asset selection is so important, especially in this market.
Do we want to do some charts? I think a bulk of them will be the ones we had on the show today. CPT.
Yeah,
Cled,
just
Viva.
run last 12 minutes. Let's run through it, because remember, Asset Dash community hasn't seen charts on what we're looking at. So we want to.
Can we start with one of the strongest charts that's in the market right now?
Yeah, sure. I'll throw. Sorry, Dom. I'm going to remove you.
It's all
Yeah,
good.
there we go.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god! Again.
Bank owner is looking good. I didn't even check that chart today. It's one of my favorite to wake up to
GM
check.
to the bank owners, bro. I mean, look at this chart, man. Looks so strong, looks so healthy. We continue to grind. Bank owners continue to enjoy holding this. I mean, this is a massive project.
Can we
It's a
preface
massive,
with the
yeah.
underlying, like the ownership structure to this? Again, guys, for those that are new from Asset Dash's side, again, thanks for coming. This is a MetaDAO project. If you're unfamiliar with MetaDAO, we actually reached out to them. We're trying to get them on the show today as well. But if you're unfamiliar with MetaDAO, they have basically proliferated the idea of ownership coins. All the revenue Avicii generates, right? And Avicii is a neobank. They have cards, etc. All the revenue Avicii generates goes into a treasury, which the DAO votes on using, right? Maybe they take $100,000 a month out for payroll and expenses. Anything above the what's been voted on, they have to come and request from the community. So you have ownership and ties to the treasury and to the company of Avicii, right? That's the beauty of this DAO structuring and the Futarki structuring and the ownership that MetaDAO grants, right? We covered Solo the other day. We covered this pre-IPO or ICO, I should say. But sorry, continue. I just needed to give that context for the new people here.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a really good point because tokens now are transforming from this speculative asset that it was, back in 2021, 2017 bull markets, but to now going into this more fundamental asset where market nukes as wide as this doesn't really affect tokens like Avicii. Why? Because people don't want to give up their exposure or their ownership of this IP. They don't want to give up their ownership of this global bank, right? And so I think that's really important for people to understand. And as we see more of these style tokens launch, ones that just, again, tied to real value and real ownership, like Avicii, they'll continue to outperform the market. And who knows, like we talked on stream earlier this week that, other mainstream news outlets, they're referring to, what we're experiencing now in crypto, they're referring it to a bear market. They think this is a bear market. And so if it really could be kind of comparable to a bear market, we could see a flush out of all the speculative tokens over these. If this could persist, I don't see us, V-shaped recovery out of this. I think there's going to be some consolidation. So, if there's going to be time to come out of this area of price action where we are, then that means that, other speculative tokens could end up just kind of washing away. And we could see the rise of tokens like Avicii that hold fundamental value, tokens like CPT. But that's Avicii. Let's look at CPT real quick. We looked at Viva. Here's CPT. We had Patrick on today. Wow, what a bounce. Look at that. Look at that. Nice little bounce here.
We'll get the clips. We'll get the clips up soon.
Only on MCG.
By the way, MAGA 2025 says, is CPT profitable yet? I'm not sure. That's not something that's been disclosed. I think they're working on contracts. It might be pre-revenue. Again, pre-revenue is not very indicative of a company, though. We saw so many very, very successful large companies operate, for a long time at a loss before they actually were able to break out. And something coming from Patrick, right, who's CEO of this company, who's taken Fubo to, over $9 billion on the public markets. You kind of have to operate at a loss sometimes before that. And I think what's nice about CPT here too is, like I said earlier, dude, I from the conversations I've had with Patrick, this guy and this team are more than capable of bringing a high level product to public markets. And like, I just want to hold
his
CPT
relationships alone are like, why would you bet against that? Dude. And he said this is his focus, right? And remember, pre-revenue does not mean there's no value. That just means that they're working on commercialization. And his tweet said that something like every home or something, or every people, I don't know if you can pull up, but anyways, it will have access to this technology. So I don't know if he's talking broadly or something that they're commercializing, but they're very clearly in the early stages of contract manufacturing, it looks like, with that $2 billion contract manufacturing company. Here, maybe I'll flip to Dom real quick.
I got it up.
Yeah, run this.
In 12 months' time, CPT technology will be in homes across the world. It's only a matter of time. Chill and I did some digging on this, going through the Wikipedia. Or actually, it was Josh and I believe. I forget who it was. I think it's Josh and I. We went through the Wikipedia and we dug into the what's the name of the team? the Massimo team. And again, he just announced, Patrick came on and said it's official, right? They officially have partnered with Massimo to, build out some of their products. And, we know Massimo's a big semiconductor company listed on the NASDAQ, publicly traded company worth billions of dollars. This is their first partnership. Again, like that should kind of go to show the type of moves and efforts that they're making in the space. It really does solidify my faith in this project becoming something big. I really do have a ton of faith through and through in this team.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that the chief scientist that they met with isn't what did he say? He said he's like a prolific figure in that space. Like he's
you're
like
talking about the French university?
Not the French university,
the
Massimo guy.
engineer. Yeah, he's 30
Yeah.
years of they make semiconductors in the US, which is, that's in high demand, of course. But this kind of stuff, like these forward technologies, I think if you look at you kind of read between the lines of US policy today, it's like AI, crypto, and like really, nuclear engineer or nuclear energy. It's like all these kind of bleeding edge technologies that they want to own. And Patrick said, he's like, I'm doing this in the United States because that's where the talent is. And so there you go.
I'm excited. Also, can we talk about Kled a little bit? I love that Avi made a pretty interesting statement. I'm not sure if you want to pull Kled's chart up, Chill.
Yeah.
But Avi made an interesting statement. He said, look, I got VCs that want rounds, they want equity. I'm just going to start directing them to the token. Hey, look, if you want equity, you got to go buy the token. This is how you do it. I'm going to leave the high level VCs, they can invest in equity in the company directly. But if you want this token as a venture capital, you're going to have to go through the liquid chart that's tradable 24/7. This is the value of private markets having a token, right? Because now this is equity anchored at some level. There are VCs that if they want exposure, they have to go and buy our bags. Not saying it's going to happen, not saying any VCs are going to actually do that, but it's really, really fascinating that we're in this time where we can actually buy stuff that VCs are interested in before them.
The script has flipped.
That's fascinating. I love that piece from Kled. And he said, hey, like that's my any tier 2, tier 3 VC coming to me. It's one way to buy it. One way in, one way out.
That's it.
From a trade, like from people who are, looking at these types of charts, like how do you think of like CPT seemed like it was at the bottom of a range. This looks like it's at the bottom of a range. Like
it's panic. It's we're seeing capitulation from people that are scared and fearful in the market. Yeah. The irony of this is though, none of these projects, Kled or CPT, should be valued based on the market conditions. This is like literally CPT is investing in the private equity of this company, and Kled is looking to tie equity anchorage to it. It's like it does not matter what. I don't know if it's gonna be sooner or later people realize this, but it doesn't matter if Bitcoin nukes 100%. Kled and CPT, okay, it'll matter a bit if Bitcoin nukes 100%, but Kled and CPT will function no matter what. And if the token's at zero and it gets acquired for a couple $1 billion, you will still get the value of that, no matter what the token looks like.
And I think that's, I've always viewed tokens kind of decorrelating from Bitcoin a bit and detaching from that price action over time. But it would like Bitcoin has like the best narrative in crypto, right? It has the biggest community because they know what they're holding. And I think when you have that amongst a token that's not speculative, that's not reliant on attention, but rather it's just relying on holders actually knowing what they own. Like I don't see anyone really, I don't see anyone kind of letting go of their Avicii, right? Like I don't see anybody wanting to let go of that because they have true ownership in that. But just from a TA perspective, I also thought that it was interesting that it's coming down to this level because it's like the 0.786 on the fib. It's tapped this level like a little bit before. Huge support there. Even as it gets close, it's getting kind of front ran a little bit too. I always like looking at the fib for retracements, and on this retrace due to panic from Bitcoin, it's it's approaching and very close to a very nice level, high value, deep value zone on the Kled chart. So I just wanted to point that out, especially with everything that he was talking to us about. And actually, for all the new viewers, I like to draw red boxes. And all of my red boxes typically hit. So I'm gonna draw a red
Financial
box
advice.
here. I'm gonna draw a red box here, and we'll just see if it hits. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I'm monitoring. I'm monitoring and watching my red box, right? And typically these things hit.
Hopefully, when you
So
open the box, there's a bunch of money in it. That's the
that's
hope, right?
Yeah, it
that's
might
the
hit
plan.
and then just keep going right through.
Yeah, just go right through it. Saying thanks for the money. Yeah.
But you know what?
So
We
what
would be
else?
doing a disservice to talk about ICM without at least shouting out a sponsor of the show and the backbone of ICM, Meteora and Meteorite Collective. Guys, if you're going to be in Abu Dhabi, coming here December 10th, you got Met Dhabi, a big event hosted by Meteora. Come meet us. We're going to be there. It'll be fun. But this was a super cool tweet. And again, we know Meteora is doing about 100 million in. Well, they're doing $1 billion in revenue, 100 million in profit, I think, in a year. And so, interestingly enough, if you actually look at the Met token, it's trading at like 150 mil. And you can see this post by LB, a friend of the show. Circa 100 million in the first year of focusing on revenue, by the way. Current valuation, 150 million market cap circulation. Met is the easiest trade. So you have the backbone of ICM providing liquidity to majority of participants on chain right now. Talking about Meteora, of course. Trading at 150 million valuation when they're doing 100 million a year in profit, in revenue. It like the price to earnings there, it's not mathing. Typically in these markets, I think Hype is trading at a 30x PE ratio right now. Right? If I know that
Bro,
correct.
Believe was 150 mil like 3 weeks ago. Like,
Yeah.
what are we talking about here?
And and to that point too, I guess if you expand on that tweet here, you got Soju commenting here. It's actually quote tweeting a Soju tweet, which says all dollars of revenue will be used. And by the way, what's going on? We pay for a premium, and now X is throwing advertisements in my feed. What's up with that?
Yo, for real.
Nonetheless, all dollars of revenue will be used to reinvest into the protocol or run the protocol or revenue or return to token holders. So there you go. That's your message from Soju. Again, nothing set in stone. There's no smart contract saying 100% of buybacks are going into it. But you have a protocol doing 100 million in revenue. It's trading basically even to price to earnings. And Soju said it right here. All dollars of revenue will be used to reinvest into the protocol or run the protocol or return to token holders. You have launch pads sitting at higher valuations. MetaDAO, I think, might have flipped Meteora, which is built on top of Meteora, right? The irony. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you guys want to wrap there or how you feel about it, but what a stream.
I mean, awesome stream. I'll just wrap with the Met chart here. I mean, I think this is what I think under market cap wise, like 100 mil. I'm not sure, somewhere around there. I'm not entirely.
I can
entirely sure.
It's sitting at 149 million market cap, 300 million FDV. We know they just TGE'd with over 40% of tokens in circulation. So I doubt they're going to dilute anymore anytime soon. So market cap's 150 mil. And again, 100 mil revenue this year.
Yeah. So yeah, I love that. And I think this is more, I know this here, I would say this here was more so, bang. This price action here was more so like airdrop. I believe anyway. Airdrop. Those who got the airdrop, they're kind of liquidating bags. But then this price action over here is purely fueled by Bitcoin, in my opinion, and what we've seen over the last couple of days price wise. So that said, I still think Meteora is on track to doing big things. And honestly, great buy zone here. Great buy zone. So
and just grateful for that team.
Yeah, honestly, shout out Meteora. Shout out them, empowering others. I think that's huge. And no doubt they'll continue to grow and things will, and they're on their way to big things. So I think that's a great place to wrap the stream, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. To thank you to all of our regular viewers. Thank you to all of the new viewers. We hope you appreciated today's stream. We love you guys. Follow the MCG account at Microcap Gem Show. As you can see, we are growing, we are expanding, and we're doing big things and more big things to come. Over the weekend, we'll be releasing next week's schedule, so stay tuned for that. We appreciate all of you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Download the Moby app. Use code MCG. Invite.mobyscreener.com/MCG. Check out our partner tickers. Add them to your watch list. But other than that, guys, thank you so much.
And actually, there is no code MCG. You have to use the link that's running on the bottom.
There
here.
used to be a code, but I guess just use the link. All right, guys. Boom.
GG's.